Chapter 491. Upstairs, the fiery night had already begun, and they did not sleep or rest. On the other hand, the elders downstairs were chatting happily, and only dispersed late at night. It was such a loving family. There was no telling how precious their child would be when it was born. Still looking at Xiaoqi, was it not too early to think about the child? Late at night at the Lu mansion, Lu Qianqian was lying on the bed after taking a shower. She was about to rest when she noticed something wriggling under the blanket. Startled, she opened the bedding and saw that there was a black snake coiled in the bedding. Her face paled in fright, and she quickly called out to Mama Lu. "Mom!" Mama Lu heard her call and quickly went to Lu Qianqian's room. She saw several snakes on the dressing table, and Lu Qianqian was trapped in the bathroom. "Mommy, there's a snake!" Mama Lu was startled too. She quickly asked the bodyguards to clean up the snakes, and when they were done, she brought Lu Qianqian out of the bathroom. "Are you all right? Were you bitten?" Lu Qianqian shook her head, but her face was pale. Her heart was pounding when she recalled the scene just now. "We'll sleep in a hotel tonight. Let someone clean this place up inside and out, or you won't be able to sleep well." Mama Lu helped Lu Qianqian up, and they booked a nearby hotel. It was only when they sat on the sofa that Lu Qianqian came to her senses. "It must be man-made. We'll investigate it tomorrow." Mama Lu hugged Lu Qianqian and coaxed her. "Sleep. You still have to go to the company tomorrow. Be strong, Mommy is here." Lu Qianqian hugged Mama Lu. Her hands were still trembling. There was no man in the family, and they were so weak that they could not fight back when they were bullied. "Aren't you afraid, Mom? Who would support us if I'm afraid?" Mama Lu patted Lu Qianqian's back. Lu Qianqian was so scared that she was about to cry, but she held back her tears. "Don't let me find out who did it, or I'll pay you back double. Right now, those uncles of yours can't do anything to you. They can only do this to disgust us mother and daughter. All right, it's late. Go to sleep." Lu Qianqian nodded. She suppressed her fear and closed her eyes. But in the middle of the night, she was still woken up by a nightmare. But she did not dare to tell her mother. She was afraid of revealing her weakness. So, she went to the bathroom and suppressed her tears. At this time, she had no one else to rely on, so she could only text Lin Muan. Lin Mu, and had set a special ringtone for Lu Qianqian to remind himself to reply to Qianqian's message, no matter how late it was. "What's wrong?" Lin Muan lay on his side, blocking the light from the phone. "Tonight, Mommy and I slept in the hotel, because we found a few snakes in our house." Lin Muan immediately sat up on the bed. "You didn't get bitten, did you?" "No, I'm just scared. I want to talk to you." "Do you know who did it?" "We can only think of a way to investigate tomorrow," Lu Qianqian said. "Who asked us to not have a man in our family? He's a pushover. Who said there are no men in the Lu family? Am I not?" Lin Muan quickly said. "Go back to bed first. I'll coax you to sleep. You still have to go to work tomorrow. As for the investigation, leave it to me." "Okay." Lu Qianqian trusted Lin Muan very much. As for Lin Muan, everything he had now belonged to Sheng Xiao's grooming. But even so, he would rather discuss with Sheng Xiao than bow to the Lin family. It seemed that it was not enough to have a male bodyguard in the house. So the next morning, a female bodyguard appeared in front of the mother and daughter of the Lu family. Lu Qianqian blinked. She did not understand. But the other party said, "I'm a professional bodyguard who just came back from training abroad. I'm hired to take care of Miss Lu and Mrs. Lu." Lu Qianqian was stunned. "You are?" "I'm hired by Zhongting. I'm very clear about Miss Lu's situation. I'll be responsible for letting Miss Lu sleep peacefully from now on." Lu Qianqian understood now. This must be Lin Muan's arrangement. In fact, to repay Sheng Xiao's debt, Lin Mu and was using his experience as a writer to do some copywriting work for Zhongting. He was ambitious enough to abandon the pen name Lin Muan and start writing again. He intended to use the income to invest in finance. At the very least, he could not be a gigolo who lived off a woman. He wanted to be worthy of his identity as a chili pepper. Muan found out so quickly? Mama Lu was puzzled when she saw the female bodyguard. "I told him last night." Mama Lu nodded and clapped her daughter's shoulder. "Don't refuse since it's Muan's goodwill." He would be at ease in the police academy this way. Lu Qianqian smiled and promptly shook her hand. I'm counting on you from now on. You're welcome, Miss Lu. If it's convenient, let me take a look at the Lu family's surroundings. I'll install some security monitoring equipment, but I won't disturb your lives. That way, I could eliminate any potential security risks. I'll help you with this. Qianqian, go to the office. Male bodyguards were powerful, but they were still taking care of 2 women, and there was a difference between men and women. That was why men could not enter Lu Qianqian's boudoir. With a female bodyguard, everything would be easily solved. Still, for real safety, Lu Qianqian had an idea to sell the Lu family's old mansion and buy a new place with higher security, because she did not want to wait for things to happen before taking precautions. Soon, Lu Qianqian entered Lu Holdings. She had a meeting with the vice president in the morning, but before she entered her office, she ran into her youngest uncle. Qianqian, look at your face. You didn't sleep well. Thanks to you, I can still hold on. Then I really worry needlessly. That's for the best. Still, I don't know if you've heard that the old man of the Lin family has fallen ill. I'm sure you would know about it given your relationship with young Master Lin. I didn't know that you're related to the Lin family. You even know that the old man of the Lin family has fallen ill. Isn't it normal for their grandson to come to the Lu family to find out about his condition after he was abducted by you? The youngest uncle smiled and left Lu Qianqian, but he was clearly doing that to put Lu Qianqian in a difficult position. Lu Qianqian did not know whether the old man was really sick or not, and whether he had colluded with her youngest uncle to plot against Muan. Still, her youngest uncle was really heartless. He was thinking of ways to disturb her mind. Chapter 492. Still, regardless of whether Grandpa Lin was sick, Lu Qianqian intended to tell Lin Mu, and so that he would not regret it if something really happened. As for what Lin Muan would choose in the future, she would not object. She would stay by his side firmly and be an indomitable warrior, just like how Lin Muan stayed by her side. Therefore, after the meeting with the vice CEO in the morning, Lu Qianqian texted Lin Mu and called him, although he did not answer. In fact, the Lin family's cars had already arrived at the gates of the police academy. The butler of the Lin family had even met the principal of the police academy to explain Lin Muan's condition, hoping that he would be granted leave. The principal approved Lin Muan's leave, and Lin Mu was informed by his tutor that the Lin family had come. It had been half a year, and he wanted to hide when he saw the Lin family's sudden appearance. Who are these rows of black cars here to pick up? Lin Muan's roommates asked each other. I wonder what young master of a rich family is lurking in the academy. Lin Muan wanted to hide when he saw the butler of the Lin family, but the butler saw him too. Young master. Master is seriously ill, and he sent me to pick you up. I thought the Lin family had already forgotten about me. Lin Muan answered the butler directly. The butler looked at Lin Muan awkwardly, as if he had 1,000 words to say. But when he saw Lin Muan's disgusted expression, he could not help but sigh. It's true this time. Whether it's true or not, I don't know how to face him now. I think you should just let me go like a fart. The Lin family might be better off without an unfilial descendant like me, Lin Muan said to the butler. Young master, go back and take a look. Can you guarantee that I can still come out after I go back? Lin Muan asked the butler in return. Even if it doesn't work, he is your grandfather. No, he is not my grandfather, because no grandfather would find someone to break his grandson's hand. How can I afford to have such a grandfather? Helpless, the butler could only stand at the gates of the police academy. Lin Muan brushed past the butler and went back to class with his roommates, who had a look of surprise on their faces. But things got out of hand this way, and everyone started gossiping. Bro Lin, where did you come from? This formation will scare the hell out of ordinary people. It has nothing to do with you. Just focus on class. Lin Muan did not explain. At the same time, he saw Lu Qianqian's message. So even his little pepper knew about it. He had already planned to propose to Qianqian, and Qianqian was about to announce her inauguration. How could he not know that his grandfather and the Lu family's uncles were in cahoots with each other? In the past half a year, He had almost gotten rid of his identity as the young master of the Lin family. He had never used the Lin family to obtain anything. From now on, he had no plans to have anything to do with the Lin family. Therefore, if the Lin family felt that he was unfilial, then so be it. If he was unfilial, then so be it. If it was foolish filial piety, then it was better to die cleanly. In any case, it was not up to them. At noon, Lu Qianqian rushed to Lin Muan's school. When she saw the situation at the gate, she felt very embarrassed. However, Lin Muan was only checking to see if she was bitten last night. This stalemate is not a solution. Let's go and meet him, Lu Qianqian said to Lin Muan seriously. Lin Muan was taken aback. Then he flicked her forehead. Do you know what you're saying? Of course I do. If you get caught, I'll just get the crown prince to bail you out. I'm not in jail. Why are you talking about bail? Are you stupid? Lin Muan glared at Lu Qianqian. Even if we want to meet him, we have to wait until you announce your inauguration. Otherwise, I find it hard to believe that this is not a trap. Lu Qianqian nodded at that. My heart will struggle with you. Silly. I'm not struggling at all. I'm very determined. So you're really going to ignore these people? They can wait as long as they want. Lin Muan said nonchalantly. The butler of the Lin family was helpless. But he could not do anything to Lin Muan. Now that old Lin was lying in the hospital, and the other members of the Lin family were taking care of him, old Lin wanted to see Lin Muan the most. But Lin Muan, after half a year of training, it seemed harder to fool him, and he was determined to leave the Lin family. The butler could not outlast Lin Muan, so he could only leave the police academy with the Lin family's motorcade in the afternoon. But Lin Muan knew that the butler might turn around and look for Lu Qianqian. So he told his girl, I'll settle the grudge between me and the Lin family. You don't have to feel guilty. If you promise the Lin family to persuade me to go home, or risk your life with the Lin family, Qianqian, I'll be very sad. I can't see any guests in the office. My family is still investigating the Viper case. Mommy and I are in the hotel. No one will disturb us, Lu Qianqian replied. That's for the best. Then Lin Muan asked Su Che to help investigate old Lin's illness. When he learned that old Lin was diagnosed with mild brain atrophy, he knew that he was an unfilial descendant. In the hospital, old Lin did not see Lin Muan. The boy was determined to cut ties with him. So even when he was hospitalized, Lin Muan was not willing to appear. Old master, I think it's not that young master doesn't want to come back to see you. He's just afraid that you will control him and tie him to the Lin family. It's fine if he doesn't want to come back. I'm already half a foot in the grave. Can't I let it go? Old Master Lin sat on the bed and said, In any case, I would rather beg Xing Xiao than return to the Lin family and inherit the family business. Since that's the case, why should I, an old bag of bones, ask for trouble? Young master seems to be holding a grudge against you for getting someone to beat him up. Yes, I beat him up. Old Lin muttered to himself. Then he stopped talking. But the knot in the heart of the grandfather and grandson would be difficult to untie. Old master, someone from the Lu family is here to see you. Do you want to see him? The old man closed his eyes and nodded. I'll see you then. Then I'll invite him in. After the butler said that, he invited the person from the Lu family into the ward. He sighed secretly. No wonder young master refused to go home. The person from the Lu family came to the ward so late at night. Who would believe that the two of them weren't in an alliance? At this time, the rest of the Lin family had gone home to rest. Only the butler was left standing outside the door. And what he did not expect was that Lin Muan, who was wearing a black coat, appeared in front of the butler and made a shushing gesture. Chapter 493. In the ward, the youngest uncle of the Lu family sat on the sofa and talked to old Lin. Now you know what that brat is capable of, don't you? She can pester your grandson until you break off your relationship. My grandson doesn't even want to visit me when I'm sick. What's the use of cooperating with you? Old Lin, your grandson is bewitched. The one you really want is the witch of the Lu family. She is eager to get your approval now. As long as you humble yourself to her, she will definitely be fooled. Don't you want her to be unable to attend the inauguration conference in a few days? Old Lin snorted. What's in it for me? Lu Qianqian lost her position as the chairman and the support of the shareholders of Lu Holdings because of the Lin family. Don't you think there will be a rift between her and Lin Muan? In that case, my grandson will hate this grandfather of his even more. Old Lin was not stupid. He knew that this deal could not be made so easily. Mr. Lu, this deal of yours is not good for me. As long as you make her unable to appear at the inauguration conference, leave the matter of making her disappear to me, and let her leave Jianchuan completely. Is this not enough sincerity? Old Lin thought for a moment and finally nodded. Then let's try again. Outside the door, Lin Muan and the butler heard their conversation clearly. However, Lin Muan did not let the butler make a sound. He did not enter the ward and disturb their conversation. Instead, he turned around and left the hospital with a sneer. The butler's expression became even more helpless. Would Lin Muan still be willing to return to the Lin family after he heard these dirty things? It was completely impossible. However, he did not dare to tell the old man directly that Lin Muan was outside the ward just now. That night, the entire city of Jianchuan was shrouded in rain and snow. It was cold and dark. Lin Muan went straight to the hotel and found the room of Lu Qianqian and her daughter. Lu Qianqian was shocked when she saw Lin Muan outside the door. However, Lin Muan took Lu Qianqian's hand without saying anything. After closing the door, he pressed her against the wall and kissed her hard. Lu Qianqian shivered when she felt the coldness. Only then did Lin Muan realize that he had come from a rainy night. He quickly took off his coat and the black sweater on his face. Lin Muan did not say anything. He just touched the tip of Lu Qianqian's nose. In the darkness, there was only their heavy breathing. Then Lin Muan asked, "Where's Auntie?" "Next door." "That's good." With that, Lin Muan carried Lu Qianqian horizontally and carried her to the bed. Lu Qianqian wanted to ask something, but when she felt that Lin Muan did not intend to let her go, she did not say anything. Because at this moment, she only wanted to feel his hot body under his shirt. The two of them caressed each other, full of passion and madness. It was not until they were honest with each other that Lin Muan regained his senses. He covered the two of them with the quilt. "I don't plan to stop tonight, Qianqian. I have no regrets." That was all Lu Qianqian said. Lin Muan didn't wait any longer. He directly broke through the last barrier between the two of them. From now on, their souls and bodies would fuse as one. After the intense session, Lu Qianqian lay on Lin Muan's chest and panted. "What happened tonight? I didn't ask you just now. Can you tell me now?" Lin Muan stroked Lu Qianqian's smooth back. Then he said in a low voice, "I went to Grandpa's ward last night. Then, I heard the conversation between your youngest uncle and Grandpa. I didn't expect that the old man was still thinking when he was sick." "You met each other?" Lin Muan shook his head. "I don't have any expectations for the Lin family now. So as my fiancé, you don't need to have any." "What did you just say?" Lu Qianqian was a little uncertain when she heard the word fiancé. So, she raised her head and asked again. "I said that you are my fiancé. When did you propose? Wasn't it intense enough just now?" Lin Muan got up and took out a ring from his shirt pocket. It was a wing ring he had made with his own hands. He put it on Lu Qianqian's finger. "This diamond is a cufflink my grandmother gave me when I was 18 years old. I modified it and made this ring with my own hands just to propose to you. I want you to have a man in the Lu family." Lu Qianqian looked at the sparkling diamond under the dim light. She smiled and cried, "It's so beautiful. So do you agree? Now that we are hugging each other naked and wearing the ring, do you still want to ask me this question?" Lu Qianqian held Lin Muan's hand and kissed it. "Tomorrow, I will seriously ask Auntie to give you to me in front of her again. Do you know that? I had prepared a very romantic occasion to propose to you, but I am afraid that other accidents will happen. So, I want to get a definite answer now. Qianqian, no matter what happens, no matter how the outside world changes, I will always be with you. Just like when Uncle passed away, I will be your strong arm." Lu Qianqian threw herself into Lin Muan's arms. The fire of war that had been extinguished seemed to be ignited again between the two of them. It was still raining outside the window. The butler saw that old Lin was not sleeping, so he went in to talk to him. "Old master, must you treat young master like this?" Old Lin took off the reading glasses on the bridge of his nose and closed his eyes tiredly. "You saw it too. I am sick, but he didn't even come to see me." "He came," replied the butler. Old Lin looked at the butler in shock. He even doubted what he said. "When you were talking to the Liu family, he came and heard your conversation. Then he left," explained the butler. "He didn't let me interrupt you." When he left, there was unprecedented despair on his face. "That was the first time I saw young master like that. Why didn't you remind me?" "Old master, if you plan to use this kind of trick to make young master go home, he will find out sooner or later. Also, the young lady of the Liu family can't control young master's thoughts. Old master, don't be used by the Liu family and push young master away." After hearing that, old Lin closed his eyes and was silent for a long time. "What do you think about Mu An's changes in the past 6 months? Young master is a completely different person. He seems to be much more mature now. He is not as frivolous as before. He seems to be serious about all his choices. He is more and more disdainful of everything about the Lin family." Chapter 494. Even if you don't accept it, the outside world has already spread the news about the two of them. Right now, everyone knows that young master and Miss Liu are a couple. Those who should be mocked have already been mocked. If you struggle like this, you're actually hurting yourself and your relationship with young master. Grandpa Lin's face turned pale. He closed his eyes and refused to talk to the butler anymore. The Lin family had been clean for generations. He would never allow a dirty woman to appear in his family. He would rather not have Lin Mu, and as his grandson, than let Liu Qianqian marry him. There were some things that he would never give in to, but for Lin Muin, he had decided to marry her for the rest of his life. The next morning, the two of them knocked on Mama Lu's door and told her that they were going to get engaged. Mama Lu nodded after she heard it. "Since you have decided, the Liu family will announce it directly. I want you to be together officially. Please try to hide my identity when you announce it, Auntie. I just want the outside world to know that Qianqian is engaged and has a man to protect her." Mama Lu understood Lin Muin. In fact, she did not want to anger the Lin family. She did not want to have anything to do with them. "Don't worry. I will do it." Liu Qianqian looked at the diamond ring on her finger. Then she exchanged a determined look with Lin Muin. They planned to stay like this for the rest of their lives. They would never be separated again. In the last few days, all the employees of Zhongting knew that a jewelry designer was working in the secretary's office. Sheng Xiao told the public that he would be in charge of Mu Qiqi's accessories for the charity banquet. But in fact, he was going to supervise the designer to design his and Xiao Qiyer's wedding ring. The designer was from Italy. He had met Sheng Xiao several times before. Sheng Xiao knew that he was very talented, so he invited him and sent a helicopter to pick him up. Then, he gave him a personal space in the secretary's office. However, the designer also knew about Huang Yao's reputation. He heard that Huang Yao had a new successor, but he did not expect that Sheng Xiao would leave Huang Yao and start his own company. "I heard that Huang Yao has been expanding into the European market recently and is planning to work with Tiffany & Company. I thought that it was Chief Sheng's decision. I was still wondering why Chief Sheng's vision had become so strange. Then, you invited me here," said Colin the designer, in his spare time while he was designing. Sheng Xiao sat on the edge of his desk and looked at the design drawings. He paused for a few seconds before saying, "Is there a problem with Tiffany & Company? Chief Sheng, you might not know this, but the new CEO of Tiffany & Company is the son of the old chairman's mistress. He is a gambler who knows nothing about jewelry. Now he is racking his brains to get money from Tiffany & Company. It is not a wise move to cooperate with Tiffany & Company." Now that Sheng Kai was the crown prince of Huang Yao, he was the one who had the final say. Did Sheng Kai not understand the situation of Tiffany & Company before they started working together? "So, I was very surprised when I heard that Huang Yao and Tiffany & Co. were going to work together. I have long stopped caring about Huang Yao. Now, I just need you to design my wedding ring for me." Although Sheng Xiao said that, According to Sheng Kai's way of doing things, Huang Yao's fake and prosperous appearance would be exposed in no time. Sheng Kai was not incompetent. Was he in such a hurry to produce results to appease Grandpa Sheng and the board of directors? After thinking for a while, Sheng Xiao gave third brother a call. Third brother could not help but sneer. Previously, during the board meeting, I mentioned a way to expand into the European market. Maybe it was to guard against me. So he decided to cooperate with Tiffany & Company. He put on a good show. I told him that Tiffany & Co. is unstable now. But second brother insisted that there is no problem. He even gave me many examples to refute me. Not everyone in the jewelry industry knows about jewelry. You'd better inform the old man of this matter in advance. Otherwise, in the end, this result is likely to fall on your head. Also, when he makes a mistake, it's your opportunity to make a contribution. You'd better find a way to remedy it secretly. Eighth brother, you used to trust second brother, didn't you? He is not the same second brother anymore. Sheng Xiao answered straightforwardly. He would not be fooled by Sheng Kai's actions. I will find a chance to tell Grandpa about this. If you tell him, does it mean that you are going to be his enemy? Are you not going to stay neutral anymore? No. Second brother and his wife will open a dye factory if we give them some color. Sheng Xiao smiled faintly at Sheng Bowen's words. But when they were about to hang up, Sheng Bowen reminded Sheng Xiao. The charity banquet is coming soon. Xiao Ran will be there too. Ask sister-in-law to take care of her. Don't let second sister-in-law bully her. You seem to have no confidence in your wife. You know Gu Xiling. She is proud and arrogant. But the things she does are not up to standard. Who knows what she is up to? What if she feels that she can't deal with Xiao Qi and turns to Xiao Ran? In fact, the current situation of the Gu family was not very optimistic. Mama Gu had concealed the news that her husband was delirious. But it was not a long-term solution. Gu Xiling went home to see her father. But now, her father could not even recognize his own daughter. So she knew that her father's condition must be very serious. Xiling, you have to be prepared. When the news of your father's illness spreads out, the Gu family will be in a turmoil. Gu Xiling felt that her life was not going well. She was ostracized in the Sheng family. Sheng Kai had taken care of her. But Sheng Kai was infertile. So, she could not give birth to a child to strengthen her position in the Sheng family. Now third brother and his wife were eyeing her. If something happened to the Gu family, she and Sheng Kai would be in great danger. And because Gu Xiling had to hide her inferiority complex, she became more arrogant and conceited. Regardless of whether it was Mu Qiqi or Hu Ran, she would not let either of them lose. The next morning, Mu Qiqi was ready to go to school. But Sheng Xiao reminded her, "Don't forget to go home early. There is a banquet in the afternoon." "I won't forget it." Mu Qiqi patted her chest. "Su Che can leave the dress in the living room. I will try it on when I come back in the afternoon. Is it okay if I don't attend the banquet tonight?" Mu Qiqi put her arms around Sheng Xiao's neck and frowned. "Do you think I will be bullied or something? You will only feel safe when you tie your little one to your belt. Hu Ran and Lu Qianqian will attend the banquet tonight. You won't be too bored." Mu Qiqi smiled slyly. "I am the wife of the CEO of Zhongting now. Why can't you feel safe? Are you afraid that some Tom, Dick or Harry will provoke me? Then, she can only blame it on her bad luck. Then second sister-in-law wants to compete with me, right? Then let her compete." Chapter 495. In fact, after Sheng Xiao left Huang Yao, no one called him Crown Prince anymore. It further showed that the world called him that because of his ability, and not because of his identity as Huang Yao's heir. Now, it was hard to tell who was more distinguished between Sheng Kai and Sheng Xiao. Huang Yao was a diamond empire with a long history. It appeared that Huang Yao had more status. But now, Sheng Xiao was in the military business, and he was surrounded by people with power and influence. Moreover, with the support of the Shen family, no one could imagine what Sheng Xiao would be like in the future. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Gu Xiling was dressed up at home. She was wearing a Chanel haute couture suit, a black and white retro double-breasted jacket, a checkered skirt, and a black beret. She looked very elegant, like a star attending an award ceremony. And with the jewelry collection of Huang Yao, It would not be an exaggeration to say that Gu Xiling was in a beauty pageant. She did not believe that she would lose to Mu Qiqi with such an outfit. Hu Ran, on the other hand, was much more low-key. She was wearing a black off-shoulder sweater and a burgundy dress. The whole outfit looked comfortable and warm. She did not seem to be deliberately pursuing perfection, and so did not wear any fancy jewelry. But when Gu Xiling saw her, she crossed her arms and asked, "Is it because you haven't appeared in big events for 2 years? Sister-in-law, don't you look a little petty dressing like this? Aren't we doing charity today? Moreover, I know that you will definitely dress up for the event. To not take away your glamour, I will look plain. Isn't that what you want? You haven't seen big events for 2 years. Are you afraid of making a mistake?" In fact, Gu Xiling was not wrong. Hu Ran had been recuperating at home for 2 years. How would she know what was popular now? It would not be wrong to be conservative. Moreover, she was not the one who confronted Gu Xiling today. She was just there to watch the show. Why should she be so serious? Still, Gu Xiling's chin was almost up to the sky. "Whether I am afraid of making a mistake or not, it's almost time. Are you not going to go, second sister-in-law? In today's occasion, there will be a lot of people concerned about your previous situation. I will deal with it. You just need to stay by my side, and don't offend anyone or cause trouble for Huang Yao." After hearing this warning, Hu Ran unconsciously smiled. "Second sister-in-law, I have regained my sanity now." If she regains her sanity, doesn't she still have the temper of a young lady? You're a member of the Sheng family now. Don't be too arrogant. Hu Ran rolled her eyes and ignored Gu Xiling. She got into the Sheng family's extended Rolls-Royce. Although she did look like she was carrying Gu Xiling's shoes. He wondered what it would be like when he saw Mu Qiqi later. In fact, the clothes that Sheng Xiao had prepared for Mu Qiqi were not that luxurious. After all, it was for charity and not for showing off. She was wearing a pure white turtleneck sweater, paired with high-waisted camel-colored wide-legged pants, and a white beaded woolen coat. She looked clean and bright. The whole outfit was not that particular, but it accentuated her fair complexion. She was young and fashionable, and did not look burdensome at all. There must be a lot of people competing with each other for beauty today, so it was better to look beautiful than to dress beautifully. When she went out, Mu Qiqi did not wear any jewelry. Because of her age in Zhongting, she had the most luxurious jewelry. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Su Che drove Mu Qiqi to the venue of the charity banquet. When she arrived at the entrance, she saw Lu Qianqian's car parked beside her. Mu Qiqi asked Su Che to stop the car. Then, Lu Qianqian pushed the door open and got into Mu Qiqi's car. "Look at you. You are the wife of the CEO of Zhongting. You should at least have a good car when you go out. You know that I don't like these things. Moreover, this car is the car that Xiao Xiao uses to meet the leaders. I think it's not bad." Mu Qiqi replied slyly. "Look at my man. He is so low-key on the surface, but I am so luxurious behind his back. Is it acceptable?" "You're right. The real elegance comes from the cultivation that you exude." While listening to Lu Qianqian's words, Mu Qiqi also noticed the ring between her fingers. "Lin Muan asked me to help keep it a secret. But in the end he proposed in advance, right?" Lu Qianqian blushed. Then she answered, "This matter started when I found the poisonous snake in my house. Maybe he wanted to give me a sense of security first, so he didn't wait any longer. Why didn't you share such good news with me immediately? Don't laugh at me. I just took over as the chairman, so I am busy." Lu Qianqian glared at her. Actually, Lu Qianqian's dressing was very normal. She just went with the style of a socialite. She was not here to stand out. "Alright, it's almost time. Let's go on the red carpet." Having said that, Mu Qiqi was about to get out of the car. But when she saw someone passing by on the red carpet, she quickly stopped Lu Qianqian. "Wait. What's wrong?" Mu Qiqi pointed her chin at a place not far away. She saw Gu Xiling being photographed by the media on the red carpet. "Maybe our car is too ordinary. That's why no one noticed you," Lu Qianqian said. "But your second sister-in-law's outfit is quite valuable." Having said that, they looked at each other and smiled maliciously. Gu Xiling was a peacock. Perhaps there was no one in the venue like her, a superstar, right? That miss who is a clear-headed person. There's going to be a good show in the venue later. Let's go. Mu Qiqi said to Lu Qianqian. Since Gu Xiling was here, she, the wife of the CEO of Zhongting, would definitely be the center of attention. After all, Gu Xiling's appearance just now was already gorgeous and luxurious enough. Now it was time to see how Mu Qiqi would surpass her. But when Mu Qiqi walked on the red carpet, the media was shocked. Mu Qiqi was not wearing any jewelry except for her earrings. She was not dressed particularly well either. But for some reason, Mu Qiqi was eye-catching and especially dazzling. Perhaps it had a lot to do with her age. Moreover, Zhongting was keeping a low profile. That was precisely why the outside world was more interested in Zhongting and Sheng Xiao. The real tycoons in this world would never flaunt themselves, but you could be sure from their confident eyes that they were fearless. Chapter 496. And the news that Lu Qianqian was about to take over Lu Holdings was also a hot topic in the media. After all, this girl in her early 20s was about to become the youngest CEO in the history of Jianxuan. So, no matter how people talked about her private affairs in the past, no one could ignore the halo of a CEO who was about to be crowned. The focus of everyone's discussion would change from the fact that she had an abortion for a man to whether she could keep the family business. The two women who were the most talked about entered the venue of the charity banquet. And there were no seats in the venue today. Everyone was in the open hall for free auctions and charity. So, all the familiar friends gathered in groups of 3 to 5 to chat. Did you see that? The one who entered just now is the current crown princess of Huangyao. And now, the one who entered is the former crown princess of Huangyao. What do you think will happen between these two today? Are the people of Huangyao also exaggerated? I saw Mrs. Sheng entering just now. She was wearing all kinds of jewelry. Is she afraid that people don't know what her family does? And today is charity. Who is she trying to show off by dressing up like a peacock? Compared to her, Mu Qiqi is really pleasing to the eye. That's right. Haha. I was just complaining to my husband that the crown princess of Huang Ya must have dressed herself up just to compare herself with Mu Qiqi. But Mu Qiqi doesn't seem to care about her at all. Hu Ran held a goblet and stood at the side, listening to the gossip tonight elegantly. But unexpectedly, Mu Qiqi and Lu Qianqian walked to her side. Qianqian, this is the daughter of the Hu family. She is also my third sister-in-law now. I know, Lu Qianqian said. Nice to meet you. I heard that too. Miss Lu is the CEO of Lu Holdings. Congratulations. Both of them had bad rumors about them, so they felt like old friends at first sight. Mu Qiqi knew that it would be like this. So she said to them, you two just watch the show today. Don't go too far. You haven't even fought with her. How do you know that we are going too far? Lu Qianqian chuckled. Gu Xiling is so arrogant, but she actually feels so inferior in front of you. The three of them were chatting among the guests when Gu Xiling approached Hu Ran. Grandpa asked me to keep an eye on you when we left the house. I didn't expect you to be able to find the Sheng family's nemesis so quickly with your long legs. I'm related to Qiqi. I'm a member of the Sheng family, and my surname is Hu. Why can't I talk to my friend? Don't you know Grandpa will be angry? Besides, what's there to talk about with a traitor? Seeing that Gu Xiling walked to Mu Qiqi and the others, the guests turned their attention to her. Everyone was waiting for the show to start. Since when can second sister-in-law make decisions for me? Hu Ran's eyes sharpened. You've just recovered from a serious illness. I'm afraid that you won't be able to tell right from wrong. Gu Xiling explained. You haven't been in contact with the outside world for 2 years. How do you know if you're in contact with a human or a ghost? He was reminding Hu Ran that she had lost her mind. Besides, don't you feel disgusted talking to a person who dissects corpses every day? Gu Xiling said those words in front of Hu Ran. But she was humiliating Mu Qiqi. As expected, whoever had told Mu Qiqi before this, Gu Xiling would definitely bring this up during the banquet. Unexpectedly, she was right on the mark. Lu Qianqian smiled beside Mu Qiqi, because she knew that Gu Xiling was overconfident. She might not have seen Mu Qiqi's fighting power. Xiaoqi, or was a little lamb in Sheng Zhao's arms. But when she came out, she was a little fox. Think about those who tried to bully Xiaoqi. What happened to them? I dissected your family's corpse? Why do you have such a big problem with me? Or is it because Xiao would rather start his own family than marry you that you can't take it? Mu Qiqi raised her brow at Gu Xiling. Well, the counterattack had begun. The past is the past. At least I'm the wife of the CEO of Huang Yao now. And you're not. You sound very proud. Mu Qiqi smiled. Then do you dare to tell the outside world about your father's illness? This was the news that Xiao had deliberately told her before she left. Hearing this, Gu Xiling's expression immediately changed. Are you baring your fangs and brandishing your claws in front of me, because you know that you're threatened, because you're the daughter of a rich family? And with Grandpa Sheng's influence, do you think he would force you to divorce second brother once the Gu family collapses? Gu Xiling did not expect that Mu Qiqi would know such a secret. You should be praying to Buddha if I ignore you. Why do you want me to teach you a lesson? Or are you afraid that people don't know that the Gu family is in danger, and you want me to help you spread the news? No problem. I can fulfill your wish. Gu Xiling's face darkened. She could only take a big gulp of champagne. Xiao said that it's easy to crush the Gu family. It's not difficult to interfere with Huang Yao. If you think that your life is too comfortable, I can really help you. I Mu Qiqi have no other hobbies. Other than dissecting corpses, I like to help people. Do you need it? Gu Xiling began to feel guilty. She glanced to the side because she was in a difficult position. She could neither leave nor stay. She had to pretend to be calm, so that no one could see through her act. Don't try to take advantage of me. Those who take advantage of me do not have a good ending. Gu Xiling, I'm taught by Xing Xiao. I'm not as good-tempered as Hu Ran. I hope this is the only time you show off in front of me. I've been too gentle in the past. I won't be so nice in the future. So what if you're the crown princess of Huang Yao? I'm the wife of the CEO of Enchanting. You're the crown princess and I'm the queen. Don't say that. I feel embarrassed for Miss Gu. Lu Qianqian pushed Mu Qiqi with her arms crossed. She doesn't feel embarrassed. Why are you embarrassed? Mu Qiqi glared at her. The auction is about to start. You can't keep the guests here, can you? Isn't this the effect you want, Miss Gu? Mu Qiqi said slowly. She did not panic at all. She was not the one who was embarrassed or afraid. Although Feng Shanshan was just joking and asking her to help her vent her anger, she could not blame her for being rude since they met, and the timing was just right. I won't let this go. Chapter 497. Gu Xiling could not do anything to Mu Qiqi, so she could only vent her anger on Hu Ran. Let's see how you explain to Grandpa when we get home. How dare you humiliate me together with Mu Qiqi? You should worry about your own status first. Hu Ran shrugged indifferently. If the Gu family was in trouble, Gu Xiling would lose her backing. Gu Xiling knew very well how terrible it was to have no backing in a place like the Sheng family. When the Gu family collapses, third sister-in-law will naturally take your place. If you show fear on your face now, how can you stand it in the future? Looking at Mu Qiqi saying this so casually, Gu Xiling's eyes were filled with intense hatred and anger. However, Mu Qiqi, who was protected by Sheng Xiao, could see the whole of Jianchuan. No matter what happened in Jianchuan, Sheng Xiao would know it firsthand. What about her? Mu Qiqi was standing in front of her, but she did not know how much Mu Qiqi knew about her. How could she compare? From this, one could see the difference between Sheng Kai and Sheng Xiao. It turned out that ordinary people and geniuses were really not on the same level. Even Ten Sheng Kai could not compare to Sheng Xiao's foresight. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The MC stood on the stage and started the auction. Seeing this, Lu Qianqian leaned on Mu Qiqi's arm. She is not even a match. Don't waste time on her. Just give her some advice and let her know her place. Mu Qiqi chuckled. Gu Xiling left Mu Qiqi angrily and went to the bathroom. She wanted to wash her face to calm herself down, but she saw her defeated face in the mirror. It was extremely ugly. In the hall, Mu Qiqi held a glass of champagne and said to Hu Ran, "When she goes back, she will definitely cause trouble for you." Is what happened to her father true? Hu Ran narrowed her eyes. It's hard to say, but Xiao told me. It should be close to the truth. Mu Qiqi smiled. Then it's more than enough to deal with Gu Xiling. who ran also smiled. When we were in the Sheng family, she put glass shards on me and made me eat food I was allergic to. I was just worried that I could not find a chance to teach her a lesson. Isn't this just right? Then don't let her go so easily. Mu Qiqi blinked. After a while, Gu Xiling returned to the guests from the other side. At this time, the MC was auctioning off the item that she had donated. That night, aside from comparing their appearances, Gu Xiling and Mu Qiqi would definitely be brought up for discussion about their philanthropic side. The item that Gu Xiling donated was a very precious ring from Huang Yao. It was embedded with 3 blue diamonds. It was very expensive and rare. When it came to charity, the Sheng family had plenty of money. That was why Gu Xiling could hold her head high. The starting price of the ring was 3 million, making it the most expensive auction item of the night. Everyone assumed that Mu Qiqi would challenge him, but Mu Qiqi simply followed Sheng Zhao's orders and announced that Zhongting would be providing aid in the field of education in the next 10 years, establishing several schools to help the development of education in the country and abroad. In this way, Mu Qiqi really did not seem to be here to compare herself to Gu Xiling. She was really shouldering the mission of Zhongting to give back to society. Qiqi, I thought that your crown prince had ulterior motives and wanted to spend money to make you happy. Are you kidding me? Zhongting is doing business now. It's true that I'm happy, but it's also true that Zhongting wants to do charity. Mu Qiqi explained to Lu Qianqian. How much would Zhongting invest in education in the next 10 years? The returns would be generous, wouldn't they? Zhongting needs talents too. Lu Qianqian gave her a thumbs up at that. I have to say that your crown prince is as shrewd as ever. Don't call him crown prince. Yes, he's an emperor now. Lu Qianqian couldn't help chuckling. The Sheng family was indeed generous. A single ring could raise millions of donations. However, no one cared whether the donations could be used for charity or to help people. The Sheng family only cared about the reputation they had for the moment. But if they really wanted to stand firm in charity, who would see their sincerity with perfunctory words? Huang Yao is certainly generous. It's only natural that they would be the center of attention. But I didn't expect that Sheng Xiao, who used to be so flamboyant, would be much more low-key after joining Zhongting. I thought he would definitely compete with Huang Yao. Building a school costs at least tens of millions, and Zhongting would have to invest it in the next 10 years. It's not something that a single ring from Huang Yao could compare with. It's obvious that Zhongting is doing charity. Isn't it obvious that Huang Yao still wants to compete with Zhongting? But Sheng Xiao no longer cares about Huang Yao? The guests' gossip about Huang Yao and Zhongting came wave after wave. They had thought that Gu Xiling and Mu Qiqi would have a fierce fight at the charity banquet and let the audience feast their eyes. But it turned out that Zhongting was the one who was seriously participating in charity, even though everyone was here to watch the show. Sheng Xiao told everyone with hard facts that Mu Qiqi and Gu Xiling were from 2 different worlds. One was just rich, but the other was not only rich, but also had the soul of a human. In fact, the thing that the Sheng family asked Gu Xiling to donate was not the ring. Gu Xiling wanted to be in the limelight, so she took out her personal belongings. It was a gift from Sheng Kai. But even so, she did not receive the attention and envy that she deserved. This made Gu Xiling very unhappy. The banquet did not last long. 1.5 hours passed by quickly with the sound of various items being auctioned. With Zhongting's school, other people's charity seemed so insignificant. Soon, everyone was about to leave the venue. At the same time, the news of Papa Gu's serious illness spread out. Mama Gu called and asked Gu Xiling to go home immediately. Mu Qiqi had just threatened her with this when she entered the venue just now. Now that the news had spread out, it must be that bitch. So, Gu Xiling did not care about such a serious occasion. She clenched her fists and ran out of the venue. When she saw Mu Qiqi and the others, she raised her hand and wanted to slap Mu Qiqi. But Lu Qianqian grabbed her wrist. After all, Lu Qianqian was also trained. She reacted quickly. Are you crazy? Mu Qiqi, you bitch. You spread the news of my father's illness. If you kill my father, I will not let you go even if I become a ghost. What proof do you have that I spread the news? Other than you and Sheng Xiao, no one else knows about this. Gu Xiling was hysterical. Her body was shaking. It seemed that she knew what kind of trouble she was about to face. Chapter 498. You have already taken Sheng Xiao away. Why do you still want to kill me? Gu Xiling was losing control of her emotions. The guests turned to look at her too. Mu Qiqi was shocked when she heard Gu Xiling's question. She had never thought that Gu Xiling would have such thoughts and fantasies in her heart. Since when was Sheng Xiao hers? If you didn't trick Sheng Xiao into leaving, why would he leave the Sheng family in Huangyao? The guests stopped in their tracks when they saw the commotion at the door. They did not expect to see a good show at the end of the banquet. The engagement between the Sheng family and the Shen family was cancelled. I was brought to the Sheng family. I was chosen by grandfather to be Sheng Zhao's wife. If it wasn't for you, I would be the wife of Zhongting's CEO now. The guests were shocked when they heard that. Could there be some inside story behind Sheng Xiao leaving the Sheng family half a year ago? Still, everyone knew that Sheng Xiao and Mu Qiqi were a famous couple. When did the young lady of the Gu family get involved in that? Or could it be that Miss Gu and Sheng Xiao had a relationship too? Mu Qiqi was really shocked by Gu Xiling's shamelessness. She was about to answer when, I only have one woman in my life, Xiao Qi. Sheng Xiao got out of a black car parked by the roadside and walked to Mu Qiqi, reaching out to her with his long arm. He had been sitting quietly in the car, ready to take Xiao Qi home. But he did not expect to see such a scene. Don't make it sound like we are in a relationship. I don't want to have anything to do with you. You have always been the tool of the old man's wishful thinking. The guests were even more excited when they saw Sheng Xiao. After all, Sheng Zhao's activities had become more mysterious after he took up his position in Zhongting. He rarely appeared in entertainment venues now, and they did not expect to see him here today. It was a feast for the eyes of the female audience. I have always belonged to Xiao Qi. She snatched you away? Do you have the right to let her? Gu Xiling's face turned red all the way to her neck. Second sister-in-law, you're someone's wife now. You need to be mindful of your status. You can be shameless, but my Qi is. We only belong to each other. No one has ever stepped in between us. Don't think too highly of yourself, okay? Sheng Zhao's words were merciless and did not give Gu Xiling any dignity. But she exposed my father's illness. Gu Xiling shouted. I was the one who exposed this matter because you're really annoying. The surrounding guests burst into laughter. Having said that, Sheng Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi and turned around. Let's go home. Gu Xiling, are you still clear-headed? Seeing that Gu Xiling still wanted to pester her, Hu Ran quickly stopped Gu Xiling and asked. Hearing Hu Ran's reminder, Gu Xiling looked at the surrounding guests and almost burst into tears. Seeing that so many people were watching her make a fool of herself and pointing fingers at her, Gu Xiling directly walked towards the parking lot. She had lost all her dignity and wanted nothing more than to find a hole to hide in. How could she be so shameless to say that she had a relationship with the crown prince? Lu Qianqian was really puzzled. She must have fantasized about it. Mu Qiqi shrugged at Lu Qianqian when she felt Sheng Zhao's strong hand. Then she looked at Hu Ran. Third sister-in-law, you'd better take this opportunity to go home. If Gu Xiling goes home first, it might be disadvantageous for you again. Then I'll go first. Be careful when you go home. Mu Qiqi looked at Hu Ran and Gu Xiling disappearing. She could not help shaking her head. The Sheng family was going to have a bloody storm again. Crown Prince, did you really spread this matter? Lu Qianqian did not believe Sheng Zhao's words. Mu Qiqi glanced at the man beside her and said, It doesn't seem like it. He doesn't have the leisure to deal with the Gu family now. Sheng Xiao did not say anything, but his expression showed that the little one knew him the best. But I really did not expect that she still has that kind of thought. At that time, Grandpa Shen proposed to break off the engagement with the Shen family and got involved with the Gu family. So she thought that she was the original wife. Mu Qiqi snorted. She really thinks that she is a piece of cake. Lu Qianqian shook her head. She could not imagine it. I'm afraid that the second young master of the Sheng family would not be able to face his wife after talking about this in front of so many people. Then it's none of our business. Mu Qiqi shrugged. Well, it's time for me to go home. Lu Qianqian saw that the young couple was so close. She missed Lin Muan too. It was not easy to wait for Lin Muan's holiday. She certainly wanted to spend more time with her lover before the announcement of the inauguration. Just say it if you want to go back and hug Lin Muan. Mu Qiqi hugged Sheng Xiao. Sheng Xiao let her go. Soon, the two got into the car and disappeared from the entrance of the venue. Of course, from the guest's point of view, Sheng Xiao seemed to pamper Mu Qiqi even more than before. And the result of him keeping a low profile was that he looked even more noble now. It was no wonder that Gu Xiling wanted to get close to him. After all, ordinary people did not even have the right to talk to Sheng Xiao. In the car, Mu Qiqi looked at Sheng Xiao. She tugged at his coat and snorted. It's been so long, but Gu Xiling still remembers it. Sheng Xiao took the chance to pinch Mu Qiqi's chin. He stared at her with his dark eyes. What does it have to do with me? Who asked you to be so handsome that others can't help but fall for you? Do you really have to be jealous? Mu Qiqi snorted. She decided to ignore this man for the rest of the night. Sheng Xiao pinched Mu Qiqi's earlobe without saying a word. After a while, Mu Qiqi could not help but say, "You did it on purpose. You know that's my sensitive spot." "I did it on purpose." With that, Sheng Xiao gave Su Che a look. The baby-faced driver immediately drove the car into a forest where no one passed by. Then he got out of the car and stood guard at the intersection. Mu Qiqi's eyes widened. "Is it necessary? We're almost home. Do I have to pick a place to deal with you?" Mu Qiqi was speechless. On the other hand, Gu Xiling rushed back to Sheng Mansion angrily. On her way there, Mama Gu called her and told her that it was more important for her to stabilize the Sheng family first. Thinking about what happened tonight, Gu Xiling frowned. She should go back to Sheng Mansion and make some plans. As for who ran, she would take the blame for her. However, the Sheng family were not fools. Especially Sheng Kai. She cried all the way home. When she entered the living room, she knelt in front of Grandpa Sheng. "Grandpa, please chase me away. What's going on?" Old Sheng was still clueless about what was going on. Chapter 499. Hearing the noise in the living room, Sheng Kai and Sheng Bowen entered the living room from the lawn. Xiling Xiao ran. "What's going on?" Sheng Kai hurried to help Gu Xiling, but Gu Xiling pushed him away. "Let me finish." Gu Xiling knelt on the ground and said to Grandpa Sheng, "Grandpa, to tell you the truth, my father has been sick recently. In order to avoid chaos in the Gu family, my mother hid it from the public. She didn't let anyone know. But do you know? Just now at the charity banquet, third sister-in-law heard the news from Mu Qiqi and immediately spread the news. I don't know what her intentions are, but she also let Mu Qiqi and Lu Qianqian humiliate me at the banquet." Sure enough, Mu Qiqi was right. Gu Xiling's framing was the most shameless of all. Now mother called and said that the whole Gu family is in a panic. My father is only sick for a few days. Is it necessary for third sister-in-law to spread the news? Maybe I really bullied her after she married into the Sheng family. That's why she hates me so much and wants to destroy the Gu family. Grandpa, for the harmony of the Sheng family, you'd better kick me out. Gu Xiling was such a proud person. Now she was kneeling in front of Grandpa Sheng and crying? Hearing Gu Xiling's words, Sheng Kai glared at Hu Ran. "Xiling is your sister-in-law. Why are you helping Mu Qiqi?" Sheng Bowen quickly stood in front of Hu Ran. "I'm afraid it doesn't count if you only listen to second sister-in-law's side of the story." Grandpa Sheng took a deep breath and pointed at Hu Ran with his chin. Xiao Ran explained, "Grandpa, it's not like what second sister-in-law said. After the banquet, second sister-in-law wanted to defeat Mu Qiqi. So, she opposed Mu Qiqi in every way. But she didn't expect that Mu Qiqi had something on the Gu family. So Mu Qiqi warned her. You can see from second sister-in-law's dress that she wanted to suppress Mu Qiqi. But she didn't expect that she would be suppressed by Mu Qiqi. Also, I heard that the Sheng family is going to donate a pair of earrings today. But second sister-in-law donated the ring second brother gave her to save face. It was auctioned for 5 million. If you don't believe me, you can check it out, and you'll know if I'm telling the truth or not." In the end, when the banquet was about to leave, second sister-in-law even rushed to the door angrily and wanted to slap Mu Qiqi. But she was stopped by Mu Qiqi. Then, she scolded Mu Chichi in front of the guests for exposing the Gu family. Mu Chichi ignored her. She even said that Mu Chichi stole Sheng Xiao from her. If Mu Chichi did not trick Sheng Xiao away, she would be the wife of Zhongting's CEO. Why am I the one who leaked the news now that I'm back at the Sheng family? You're clearly with Mu Chichi. Gu Xiling retorted. What you've done has disgraced the Sheng family. You've let second brother down because of your delusions. What right do you have to accuse me? Hu Ran did not want to be outdone. If you don't believe me, you can ask the guests who attended the banquet today. I'm just angry at Mu Chichi's arrogant attitude. But my relationship with Kai is very firm. Don't try to sow discord between us. You're in cahoots with Mu Chichi. Enough. After listening to the two of them, Grandpa Sheng shouted. How could there be so many problems at a charity banquet? Did you really donate the ring I gave you? Sheng Kai lowered his head and looked at Gu Xiling. I just don't want Huang Yao to be looked down upon. Do you know what's the meaning of that ring? It's a treasure passed down from generation to generation in the Sheng family. You're so generous. Sheng Kai could not help but laugh. Also, don't you know that Mu Chichi didn't steal Sheng Xiao from you? It's been so long. We've been husband and wife for half a year. I didn't know that you're still thinking about eighth brother. Kai, don't listen to Hu Ran. She's slandering me. Gu Xiling quickly explained. So many people here saw it. I don't need to slander you. Grandpa and second brother can ask them. Hu Ran said harshly. You're the one who embarrassed yourself outside. Now you're putting the blame on me. Am I so easy to bully? Also, such a big thing happened to the Gu family. Your father is sick. Why didn't you tell Grandpa or your husband? What are you trying to do? Which family's business hasn't gone through a few turbulences? You've never been to the business world. You won't understand. Grandpa, it's true that I didn't tell you immediately, but it's just a minor illness. It won't affect the Gu family's business. Don't tell me that you still don't trust me after I've been the daughter-in-law of the Sheng family for half a year. Gu Xiling was still arguing. Who cares about the Gu family's business? But why are you slandering me? Hu Ran refused to let go of Gu Xiling. Even so, even though Sheng Kai was humiliated by what happened tonight, he still had to protect Gu Xiling. Because she was his wife. Humiliating his wife was the same as slapping his face. Get up, Kai. I believe you, Sheng Kai said to Gu Xiling. I'll find a way to get the ring back. I'll pretend that you didn't say what you said in anger. But Xiling, there won't be a next time. Kai. I knew it. You care about me the most. Gu Xiling stood up. Then she looked at Hu Ran. You were so close to Mu Chichi the moment you went in. I really suspect that you're in cahoots with Mu Chichi. You and third brother have always sided with Sheng Xiao. So, I don't believe that you have nothing to do with what happened to the Gu family. Grandpa, are you sure you want to be fooled by second sister-in-law? Third brother, who had been silent all this while, suddenly spoke. If it's just a common illness, why would the Gu family go through so much trouble to hide it from the outside world? Second sister-in-law, why are you so afraid that people know that your father is sick? Why didn't you tell them? There is only one reason. You're afraid of losing the support of the Sheng family. You're afraid of losing Grandpa's support. You want to stabilize your position in the Sheng family. It's so shameful about the ring. Grandpa, you didn't even care about it. Second sister-in-law complained to you the moment she came back. What evidence does she have to prove that Xiao Ran did it? For the sake of this family, I've cut off all contact with eighth brother. To make you believe that I'm not disloyal, I worked hard. But what's the truth? Grandpa, you're biased toward second brother. You knew about the background of Tiffany and company, but you still let second brother take the risk and work with them. What am I then? Why don't I become the son-in-law of the Hu family? Otherwise, I won't even be able to fart when my wife is bullied to this extent. Chapter 500. Sheng Bowen was enraged. He grabbed Hu Ran and was about to leave when Grandpa Sheng finally spoke. Xiling, tell me honestly, what is your father's illness? Gu Xiling was startled. She looked at Grandpa Sheng and hesitated. Tell me honestly. I don't blame you. Headaches, fainting. There should be a definite illness, right? I don't know. Gu Xiling cried. Grandpa, I really don't know. That's what Mommy told me. You're still lying. Third brother rolled his eyes. All right, we'll investigate this matter in the future. Why did you make the decision on your own regarding the ring? Old Master Sheng glared at Gu Xiling, staring her in the eyes. I just want Huang Yao to be respected. I really don't know the importance of the ring. It's okay if you don't know, but it's a gift from second brother. Are you really willing to give it up? Gu Xiling's forehead was covered in cold sweat. One last question. It's true that Mu Qiqi took Xing Xiao away, but you're second brother's wife now. Have you ever thought about how embarrassing it would be for second brother to say such things in public? Gu Xiling's body softened after hearing Grandpa Sheng's question. She knelt on the ground. Grandpa, I didn't do it on purpose. I was just provoked by Mu Qiqi. Provoked? You can talk nonsense and do stupid things just because you are provoked? Xiling, I always thought that you were dignified and had the demeanor of a lady from a respectable family. But now, how can I continue to believe you? Gu Xiling knelt on the ground. She could not answer because she was guilty. If second brother becomes the chairman of Huang Yao in the future, how can you manage the Sheng family? You really disappoint me. Grandpa Sheng stomped his walking stick on the ground. Then he said to Sheng Kai, It's your wife. Do as you see fit. I don't want to see her now. She doesn't need to care about the Sheng family's affairs. Watch your mouth first. Gu Xiling fell to the ground when she heard the answer. Grandpa, after Xiling's question, let me ask Xiao Ran. Have you contacted Mu Qiqi and colluded with her to frame your second sister-in-law? Hu Ran rolled her eyes and answered Grandpa Sheng frankly. Grandpa, I was trampled by second sister-in-law the whole time. I did not collude with Mu Qiqi. We just met for the first time. Why would she collude with me? If you don't believe me, you can check it out. I trust you, Grandpa Sheng said to Hu Ran. After all, it was Gu Xiling who was at fault for the entire night. It's good that you believe me. Otherwise, I really don't have anyone to complain about this injustice. Hu Ran snorted. Seeing this, Sheng Bowen also warned Sheng Kai. Second brother, you have to control your wife now. Don't come out and frame others. Xiao Ran's condition has just improved. I don't want her to be stimulated and hurt again. Also, regarding the collaboration with Tiffany and Company, I still insist on my opinion. Something will definitely go wrong. Just wait and see. Xiling, let's go back to the room. Xiao Ran, let's go back to the room too. The two brothers, each supporting their wives, returned to their respective rooms, and the noisy hall suddenly quietened down. Grandpa Sheng turned his head and looked at the butler not far away. Then he asked, Who do you believe? Master, don't you have the answer in your heart? Go and check on the Gu family. Find out how serious Xiling's father's condition is. I understand, Master. Who would Grandpa Sheng believe? Grandpa Sheng only believed in benefits. In conclusion, Gu Xiling's performance this time had disappointed him very much. He felt that it was difficult to entrust her with such an important task. If the Gu family was also unstable, this daughter-in-law would be ruined. Under this premise, of course, he would side with Hu Ran. As for whether Hu Ran had colluded with Sheng Xiao and Sheng Xiao, he would investigate it himself. Soon, Gu Xiling's incident spread in the circle. What happened in the Gu family was also the headline. Papa Gu's condition was still unknown. Sheng Kai, who helped Gu Xiling back to the room, seemed to support his wife. But it did not mean that he was not angry. After returning to the room, Sheng Kai left his wife and went to the office of Huang Yao alone. She had already expressed that she could not let go of Sheng Xiao. Was he going to swallow his anger? Gu Xiling knew that she was in a difficult situation now. But once she left the Sheng family, she did not know what Hu Ran would do to push her away. She had finally stabilized herself. She must not fall out with the Sheng family at this time. In another room, third brother brought Hu Ran to sit on the bed. He asked with concern, Are you all right? Hu Ran shook her head. It's just a pity that I did not drive second sister-in-law out completely. If something happens to the Gu family, it will happen sooner or later. You don't have to worry about it. Third brother comforted Hu Ran. Did you see Mu Qiqi tonight? Did you talk to her? She said that Sheng Xiao taught her personally. Is it true? Hu Ran was very curious about Mu Qiqi. It's true. When Xiao Qi was 17, She saved eighth brother's life. Later, eighth brother saved her. At that time, Xiaoqi was bullied everywhere. Eighth brother could not stand it, and taught Xiaoqi how to fight back. So to Xiaoqi, eighth brother is not only her lover, but also her benefactor, uncle and master. I can see that your little brother dotes on Muqiqi very much. That's why Muqiqi is so confident. Isn't that so? If Muqiqi wants the moon in the sky, eighth brother would go and get it. Hu Ran could understand the relationship between Sheng Xiao and Muqiqi. It was not just love. To Muqiqi, Sheng Xiao had always been a hero over the years, even to this day. I saw Muqiqi's combat power tonight. It is proven that Gu Xiling is not even qualified to be compared with Muqiqi. Third brother took the opportunity to hold Hu Ran's hand. Then he looked at her firmly. You don't have to be envious of others. We can do it too. Third brother, tell me honestly, are you interested in becoming the crown prince of Huangyao? If I say no, it must be a lie, especially when he saw Sheng Kai's arrogance. In order to suppress him, third brother did not care about Huangyao's losses. At that moment, he wished that he was the one sitting on the CEO's seat. Then, we should seize the opportunity and get the position. But both of them had mediocre abilities and weren't that outstanding. Chapter 501. What was the use of investigating? Sheng Xiao had to be willing to do it for him. After he started his business, he had a noble-like secretary to guide him, so he could do things even more flawlessly. After all, he had to deal with people in the government. How could he do whatever he wanted like before? Old Sheng was always focused on the family struggle, so he had no idea how much Sheng Xiao had evolved. As for the matter of the Gu family, Muqiqi had no idea who had leaked it. Judging from her man's attitude, he was probably not the kind of person who would poke his nose into other people's business. I thought you were going to help third brother become the crown prince. Sheng Xiao made love to her in the car. After he got home, he cleaned up twice and finally satisfied the little one. Not letting her continue being jealous, Sheng Xiao was reading in his study. Muqiqi came out of the bathroom and climbed onto his lap. She looked at the book in his hand in surprise. Do you think I am the kind of person who is free? Sheng Xiao hugged her butt and held her between his legs. I have no intention of getting involved in other people's business. TSK, I thought third brother is lucky. Come to think of it, third brother is really having a hard time. Sheng Xiao looked up at her and teased her. You worry about others all the time. Why don't you worry about yourself? I'm fine. What's there to worry about? You don't worry, and you are not in a hurry. I am the one who is in a hurry to get married. Sheng Xiao laughed at himself and picked up his book again. You were not like this when you had a crush on me. You were so proactive back then. Did he think that she did not love him enough? Who asked our country's legal marriage age to be later than other Asian countries? 20 is suitable, but we have to wait 2 years later than others. We have to wait until we are 22. Seeing that Sheng Xiao was still not saying anything, Muqiqi sulked. Xiao Xiao, I love you very much. Am I not yours if I don't register and get married? The waiting time is too long. It's annoying, Sheng Xiao replied darkly. Muqiqi looked at Sheng Xiao's open white nightgown and saw her name carved on his collarbone. Her heart softened. Why don't we have a child? Sheng Xiao finally put down the book in his hand. He was very upset. That was why he had to do more to calm himself. In the midst of their passion, Muqiqi suddenly thought of something. Did Sheng Xiao think that he was old? Was he having a midlife crisis at 28? If Sheng Xiao knew what this little one was thinking, he would definitely beat her up. Why did she have such a strong desire to get married? After the pleasure, Sheng Xiao had to clean the little one's body. Not for anything else, but because his possessiveness was getting stronger and stronger. The winter wind was bone-chilling. When it blew into the room, Muqiqi's body naturally shivered. Sheng Xiao glanced at her and pulled her into his arms. He kissed her forehead. You're the only one who's still out of it. Do you know that I love you so much that I don't know what to do with you? He wanted every part of her. Not only that, but also did not give of it of Muqiqi to freedom. Because he loved her deeply, he could not bear to see her suffer. In the dark, Muqiqi did not open her eyes. She hugged Sheng Xiao tighter subconsciously. If he was really that uneasy, she thought that she could give birth to a child for him. That was her plan when they came back from abroad. It did not matter if others laughed at her or mocked her. She just wanted her man to be at peace. She had to pamper her man. The next morning, the Lu family joined the Gu family in announcing an important piece of news. The new chairman of Lu Holdings, Lu Qianqian, had announced that she was getting engaged. The groom was not announced, but judging from the seriousness of the announcement, the Lu family must be serious too. Everyone was guessing the groom's identity. It was most likely the young master of the Lin family, Lin Muan. Although the Lu family did not intend to provoke the Lin family, how could old Lin bear the news? He had always thought that there was still a chance to salvage the situation. But now that the two of them had announced their engagement, it was clear that the Lu family did not care about the Lin family at all. At this thought, old Master Lin, who was lying on the sickbed, could not accept it. He said to the butler, "Go and arrange for someone to capture Lin Mu, and from the police academy. I'll call the Ji family and kidnap him to the Civil Affairs Bureau to register his marriage with Miss Ji." "Old master, I'm afraid you can't do that. If you don't want to see me die of anger, just do as I say. I will call the Civil Affairs Bureau and ask them to get this done. Lin Muan is not of age yet. Just change his identity to a few years older." The butler sighed helplessly. Actually, Miss Lu was not that bad. Why could this old man not accept it no matter what? "As long as I can get rid of the mother and daughter of the Lu family, I am willing to give up my life. I will do it right away." But with Lin Muan's temper, if he knew what the old man was planning, how would he resist? The butler was frightened just thinking about it. At first, Mama Lu had planned to buy some things and visit old Lin in the hospital after the news was announced. But old Lin refused to see guests. In fact, Mama Lu knew that old Lin just did not want to see the Lu family. Helpless, Mama Lu returned to the Lu family with the things she bought. She did not know what to do to make old Lin give in. Lin Mu and saw the news early in the morning. His lips naturally curled into a beautiful angle. Now that he was Qianqian's legitimate fiancé and had the complete Lu Qianqian, he felt even more secure. His roommate could not help teasing him when he saw his smile. "Brother Lin, what's the good news? You're smiling so early in the morning." "Your sister-in-law and I have officially announced our engagement." Lin Mu and generously shared the good news. TSK, you can't mistreat a single dog like that. But it is indeed a good thing. We congratulate you and sister-in-law. Lin Muan could not help laughing again. But a moment later, he was called to the office by the counselor. Before Lin Muan could react, two burly men behind the door tied him up with a rope. It was obvious that they were from the military. How could Lin Muan be a match for them alone? In the office, the counselor looked guilty. "Muan, I'm sorry." Chapter 502. Lin Muan was tied up and brought out of the police academy. He was then sent to the car. Two martial artists sat on both sides of him, so that he could not move at all. "Young master, I'm sorry. You have to tell me where are you taking me now, right? You'll know when you get there." The other party did not intend to give Lin Muan a chance to react. They did not give Lin Muan any mental preparation. The car sped all the way and soon arrived at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau. When Lin Muan saw it, he immediately understood that Grandpa Sheng was going to force himself on him. "Young master, after you register your marriage with Miss Ji today, everything will be over. Your hard days will be over, and we won't have to suffer anymore." Lin Muan was tied up and had no chance to resist at all, except his mouth. "If you listen to the old man today and force me to get married, I won't resist. I'm no match for you anyway. But listen to me, the two of you. If I successfully register my marriage with Miss Zhang, or Miss Li today, I'll die in front of you. Let's see how you're going to explain to the old man then." When they heard Lin Muan's threat, they immediately looked at each other. It was obvious that they were feeling guilty. "Don't think that I'm joking. You two can decide your own future. Why don't you give the old chief a call and ask for instructions?" one of them said to the other. The other nodded and took out his phone from his bag. "Watch, young master." Lin Muan saw that one of them got out of the car and did not close the door. He took the opportunity and ran out. After all, he had been training in the police academy for a long time. Although he could not beat the two of them, he still had a chance to escape. When the two saw Lin Mu and running out of the road, they quickly chased after him. But because the traffic was too heavy, and Lin Mu rushed forward without caring about the consequences, the two of them were so scared that they could only stand on the zebra crossing and wait for the red light. Then, the two of them returned to the car and chased after him. Lin Mu was alert and took a taxi. He told the driver, "Go to Enchanting as fast as you can." Seeing that the two of them were still chasing after him, Lin Mu quickly untied himself and borrowed the driver's phone to call Lu Qianqian. His phone was thrown away by the two of them just now, and he only remembered Lu Qianqian's number. "Qianqian, send Sheng Zhao's number to this phone immediately." "What happened?" "Don't ask first. Just do as I say." Lu Qianqian hung up and promptly sent Sheng Zhao's number to Lin Mu, who did not hesitate for a second and dialed his number. "Crown Prince, could your men please come to Enchanting's entrance to meet me? I'll let Su Che out." Knowing that it was Su Che, Lin Mu was relieved. However, the car behind was getting closer and closer. Seeing Lin Mu like this, the driver was a little worried. "Are you a fugitive?" "I'm a student of the police academy." Lin Mu took out his student ID card from his pocket. "Because of my good family background, those two wanted to kidnap me. So I'm going to Enchanting for help." When the driver heard that it was a kidnapping, he immediately sped up. When Lin Mu got into the car, he was indeed tied up with a rope. However, the two people behind him were, after all, martial artists. They quickly stopped the driver's car by the side of the road. "Do you want me to call the police?" The driver was so scared that his face changed. "There's no need. Why don't I go to Enchanting for help?" "That's possible." With that, Lin Mu jumped out of the taxi. "Young master, why are you doing this?" Although Lin Mu's hands were empty now, he was no match for the two men. "Even if it's not today, you won't be able to escape from the chief's grasp." "Then try," Lin Mu said, and the three men were instantly tangled together. Lin Mu used his full strength and could still injure them, but his face and body were clearly covered in more wounds. "Young master, we really don't want to fight anymore." Lin Mu lay on the ground, waiting for the two men to take him away. But that was when Su Che sprinted over, and with the help of a tree, he kicked the two men away. Then he helped Lin Mu up and pushed him aside. The old man's men thought that Su Che was a pushover when they saw his baby face. However, the two men could not even touch the corner of Su Che's clothes when they attacked at the same time. It was then that the two men realized that they had run into a real expert. "If you want to take her away from me, Su Che, you have to win against me." The two men were stunned when they heard Su Che's name. After all, they were all soldiers. Naturally, they had heard of Su Che's name. "Let's go. They're from the special forces. We can't win against them." But the two men looked at Lin Mu with a complicated gaze. Lin Mu breathed a sigh of relief when he saw the two men leave. He thanked the driver many times before he was helped into Enchanting's building by Su Che. Sheng Zhao did not stop his work when he saw them enter the office. "Injured. Those two men are quite skilled. It's normal for him to be injured," Su Che answered for Lin Mu. "What for?" Lin Mu wanted to laugh at the mention of this. "That old thing is indulging in fantasy. Maybe he was provoked, so he wanted to kidnap me and bring me to the Civil Affairs Bureau today." "You're stubborn," Sheng Zhao laughed. "I can't tell that you're still so loyal. Don't you know this better than me? Whatever you do for Chi-Chi, I'll do for the person in my heart. If I have to be manipulated by others for the rest of my life, I'd rather die." Lin Mu was not as weak and bookish as he was half a year ago. Perhaps it was because he had stayed in the police academy for too long, so he had some wildness and tenacity. "I've already called Lu Qianqian. She's on her way now. No matter what, you still have to think of a way to escape. Otherwise, this kind of thing will happen again in the future. You still have to go to school, don't you? When Qianqian comes later, I'll lend you Su Che." Lin Mu had a plan in mind. It seemed that there were some things that must be solved directly with the old man. Otherwise, everyone would not be at peace. "If you can't solve the old man today, then I'll have to consider," whether to continue training you in the future. Because you're not qualified. Sheng Zhao's words were very direct, but also very passionate. Lin Muan naturally understood his meaning. After a while, Lu Qianqian arrived at Zhongting. Seeing Lin Muan injured, she quickly rushed to him. What happened? It's nothing. It's just a superficial wound. Qianqian, come with me now. Where? Lu Qianqian's eyes were filled with his injuries. You'll know when you get there. Suche, please drive. Chapter 503. Suche drove very fast, and the three of them soon arrived at the hospital where old Lin was. Lin Muan did not hesitate for a second. He led Lu Qianqian to the door of old Lin's ward. When the butler saw this, he was shocked. Although he already knew that his subordinate had failed, he did not expect Lin Muan to come to the hospital directly. Young master, you. Suche, please protect Qianqian. I'll be out soon. With that, Lin Muan ignored the butler and pushed open the door of the ward. At this time, old Lin was lying on the bed reading the newspaper. When he saw Lin Muan injured, he said, Is my arranged marriage making your life worse than death? Lin Muan saw the fruit knife on the table and picked it up. When old Lin saw this, he was shocked. What do you want to do to me? Lin Muan walked up to old Lin and said, I know that the Lin family raised me. I have never forgotten this. So I'll return it to you now. With that, Lin Muan stretched out his left hand and stabbed the fruit knife into old Lin's palm. The old man's eyes widened in fright. Blood dripped down Lin Muan's palm, but he did not seem to intend to stop. Is this enough? Or, do you want my hand more? My limbs? What do you want to let go of your control over me? Tell me now. Or do you want me to die in front of you? Old Lin had never thought that Lin Muan, who used to be such a gentle person, would be so ruthless in front of him. As long as you say that you still want to arrange for me to marry another woman, I'll die in front of you now, so that it won't be difficult to escape later. Give me an answer. What do you want? Lin Muan's eyes were very red, and his words were very firm. Coupled with the blood dripping from his palm, this scene seemed to stimulate old Lin's nerves. Do you hate me so much for paving the way for you? That's not paving the way for me. That's controlling my life. I don't want to say anything more to you now. Just tell me, do you want my life or not? Old Lin closed his eyes. He really did not expect Lin Muan to force him like this. Didn't you get someone to beat me up before? I think you won't feel bad about it, so I'll just stab a few more times. With that said, Lin Muan pulled out the fruit knife. Just as he was about to swing it again, the old man finally couldn't take it anymore. Enough. Lin Muan's hand finally stopped in midair. You said enough. In other words, you won't control me anymore. Can I understand it that way? You can do whatever you want. Grandpa Lin lost his temper. But you can't leave the Lin family. As a police officer, I won't embarrass you. Just wait and see. After that, Lin Muan finally threw away the fruit knife. I will change your opinion of me. The old man could do nothing to Lin Muan. Was he really going to watch him die? At that moment, Lin Muan was so agitated that the old man was really afraid that he would cut his artery. Lin Muan did not say anything else. He turned around and left the ward, covering his hand. Lu Qianqian's face turned pale when she saw it. What's wrong? Lin Muan did not answer. Instead, he pulled Lu Qianqian into his arms. Everything is settled. Special Assistant Su, you can go back and report. Don't hug me first. Let me take a look at your hand. Let the doctor treat it first. Not to mention that it was just an injury. Lin Muan would feel that it was worth it if he could really exchange one hand for his freedom. I'll be relaxed in the future, Lin Muan said. His tears were almost coming out. Sometimes, when people were forced to the extreme and really had no way out, they would give everything in exchange for a chance of survival. When the butler saw the two of them leaving, he pushed the door open and came out. When he saw the blood on the old man's bed, he was immediately shocked. Master, this is not my blood. The old man took a deep breath. I always thought that this child was weak and timid. Even after he left the Lin family, I just thought that he had a strong self-esteem. But today, when he held a fruit knife in front of me and asked me if I wanted his life, I suddenly realized that this child has a wild nature. So you're going to let him go? What else? Force him to death? Then I really have nothing, said the old man. He said that he could make a name for himself as a police officer. Let's see what he can do. As for Lu Qianqian, I will still not admit it. Those two children are still young. Maybe they will get tired of it in 2 years. The old man smiled bitterly. Although he had admitted defeat, he did not know why he felt a little gratified deep in his heart. Because of Lin Muan's courage just now. If Lin Muan had just given in today, perhaps he would have felt that it was meaningless. But just then, the youngest uncle of the Lu family called the old man. My niece has announced that she is engaged to your grandson. Old Lin, are you just going to ignore it? Your niece has announced her inauguration. It's your ability if you can stop it, but it's your fate if you can't. Don't call me in the future. We are not in the same boat. The butler breathed a sigh of relief when he heard the old man's words. It seemed that the old man had really let go. I have to live well. I have to see how that boy brings glory to the family. Meanwhile, in the emergency department, Lu Qianqian was puzzled when she saw Lin Muan's wounds. What happened between you and your grandfather just now? I told him not to interfere with my life. Otherwise, I would die in front of him. It's just the first day of being my fiancé. What do you mean by dying? Lu Qianqian glared at him. Do you want your hand to be crippled? I think it's worth it to exchange my hand for yours. Lin Muan, do you know that you are really stupid? Lu Qianqian threw herself at him without a care. You are mine. Your body is mine too. I won't let you ruin my things like this in the future. I told you that I will give you a sense of security openly. I will be your fiancé, so that there will be a man in the Lu family. I realized that you have changed a lot in the past 6 months. Lu Qianqian looked at Lin Muan's bandaged hand. Didn't you accept your fate in the past? I have to thank CEO Shengda for showing me what a man can do. We are both men. What he can do for Xiaoqi, I can do for you too. Although I might not be able to do better than him, at least I have to try my best to know where my limits are. Chapter 504. When she got home in the afternoon, Mu Qiqi heard about what happened between Lu Qianqian and Lin Muan. When she thought of Lin Muan's bloody hand, she felt that he was really cruel to himself. No matter what, if there was a good outcome, it could be considered a happy ending. But after talking about Lu Qianqian and Lin Muan, Mu Qiqi sat on Sheng Xiao's lap. Sheng Xiao glanced at her. He knew immediately that she must have something to ask of him. Tell me. The university organized a conference. There are not many people in the forensic science faculty. Feng Shanshan and I are the 2 most experienced interns. So, we were sent to go there for 4 days. Mu Qiqi explained as she drew circles on Sheng Xiao's body. Where is it? Why city? Mu Qiqi answered. Of course, she was observing Sheng Xiao's expression as she answered. It's a rare opportunity, so I want to go too. When are you leaving? Surprisingly, Sheng Xiao did not ask too many questions. He did not even look unhappy. The day after tomorrow morning. Got it. Sheng Xiao patted Mu Qiqi's, but as if his mind was not on talking to her at all. She said she would be away for 4 days. Then I'll go take a shower first. Mu Qiqi got down from Sheng Xiao's lap, but Sheng Xiao grabbed her wrist. Wait for me. Let's go together. Mu Qiqi nodded. The couple entered the bathroom together. But before Mu Qiqi could react, Sheng Xiao pressed her against the wall and kissed her fiercely. Even though they had been together for so long, this man's interest in her did not seem to have decreased. Mu Qiqi could not take it anymore. She quickly hugged his neck. Sheng Xiao pressed his nose against hers. His voice was deep and pleasant. Jump up. I'll hug you. No. You only know how to bully me. Sheng Xiao did not wait for her consent. He took off her pants and held one of her legs. Then they became entangled. Then he lifted her up into the air. Mu Qiqi would go crazy if he did that. You don't like it? Mu Qiqi leaned against the wall and panted. How could I not like it? Sheng Xiao, you bastard. Don't you know that I'll be laughing in my heart no matter what you do to me? When the 2 of them descended from the clouds, Mu Qiqi lay in his arms and said, I know you don't like me taking risks, and you don't like me leaving you. But as your woman, I can't be useless. I must maintain my own charm. I want my own career and my own life. Even if someone mentions your wife in the future, I'll be satisfied if they can just say oh and say she's a forensic doctor. Muchichi's eyes widened. She looked at Muchichi, and Muchichi with a smile. I don't want to embarrass you. Having said that, Muchichi buried her head in his arms. You don't know how outstanding you are. Sheng Xiao smiled when he heard that. He washed the little one in his arms and carried her back to the bed. So, don't be angry when I go out. I don't want to leave you either. You know very well that you're the one I'm most attached to in this world. After listening to her sweet words for a whole night, CEO Sheng was satisfied. He wrapped Muchichi in the blanket. I'm not against you going out. Not even a little bit unhappy. No, Sheng Xiao said seriously. Muchichi was satisfied. She felt comfortable being taken care of. She hugged the man's waist and slowly closed her eyes. But why was Sheng Xiao not unhappy? It was simple. When Muchichi told him that she was going for an academic exchange, he had made up his mind. Wasn't she going to Y City? Coincidentally, he had a very important person to meet. If that was the case, he would accompany her to relax. But he could not tell her now. Now that Muchichi was an adult, she had her own privacy and space. What if she really did not want him to go with her? So, he asked Muchichi before she fell asleep. Cheer, don't you think that we are too attached to each other like conjoined twins? Who said that? Muchichi scolded. You are my spiritual sustenance. Why should I go and look at those messy things outside? I would rather look at my man all the time. No man or woman is as good looking as you. Don't you think you can't stand it? Don't you want your privacy? I want to, but I have no secrets from you. Muchichi answered naturally. Xiao Xiao, although you are old and have a midlife crisis, I still want to be with you even if you are in your 70s or 80s. In fact, I am more afraid that you will get tired of me. After all, you are the omnipotent Sheng Xiao. Sheng Xiao was speechless. Old age. Middle life crisis. This little one must be tired of living. It turned out that he was not the only one who was worried. He was not the only one who felt that they needed each other so much that they could not be separated. He thought that it was some kind of illness. He was afraid that Chi'er would not be able to stand his desire to control her. But he was relieved when he saw that Chi'er could not wait to be tied to his belt. Perhaps it was because he loved her too much that he was afraid of hurting her. Seeing that the little one was gradually falling asleep, Sheng Xiao held her face and stroked it gently. A lifetime is so long. Don't get tired of me. Okay. Muchichi closed her eyes. But she seemed to have heard something. She nodded naturally and hugged Sheng Xiao tighter subconsciously. On the other hand, Sheng Kai had not returned to Sheng Mansion since the night the incident happened. The rumors outside were so bad. He certainly did not want to see Gu Xiling now. And the incident with the Gu family was also spread all over the place. Fortunately, Papa Gu woke up and stabilized the situation. Everyone in Gu Corporation was relieved. For the time being, no one knew that Papa Gu had gone crazy, because the doctor prescribed him medicine to calm him down. His condition was fluctuating. And when he was normal, Mama Gu would let him show his face in front of the employees of Gu Corporation. This way, the shareholders would be fooled, and there would not be any big trouble for the time being. After knowing that Gu Corporation was stabilized, Grandpa Sheng's attitude towards Gu Xiling softened a lot. But he did not trust her as much as before. Anyway, they were legally married. No matter how unreasonable Grandpa Sheng was, he still had to consider the Gu family. So during dinner he told Gu Xiling, "Go and visit second brother tonight. There is nothing that cannot be solved between husband and wife. When will my great-grandson come out if we keep having a cold war with each other?" I know, Grandpa. If it was in the past, Gu Xiling would never have been able to lower her voice. However, times were different now. When Sheng Bowen saw that Sheng Kai was not around, he brought up the dispute with Sheng Kai again. "Grandpa, about the cooperation with Tiffany and Company. You don't need to say anything. Listen to your second brother," Grandpa Sheng said to third brother. "I have seen the risk assessment report. It is within the acceptable range." Chapter 505. Sheng Bowen sighed and shook his head. "Don't blame me for not reminding you when the time comes." Third brother. I noticed that you have improved a lot after you got married. It's a good thing, and Xiao Ran has contributed the most. Whatever the case may be, the old man was happy despite their disagreement. At the very least, third brother was thinking about the safety of Huang Yao and not colluding with those messy people outside. The old man had looked into the relationship between third brother and Sheng Xiao and found that they had definitely not met in private. Grandpa, don't be offended by third brother. You know he has always been straightforward. How can I not know? Let's eat. Grandpa Sheng nodded happily. If it was in the past, Gu Xiling would have taken the opportunity to mock him. But now that her position in the Sheng family was worrying, she had to swallow her anger, even if she was unwilling. By the way, Xiao Ran, you should go to the company as soon as possible and help third brother. Then I will be more assured. I know, Grandpa. Gu Xiling felt that she was an outsider from the beginning when she saw this scene. She had only made a small mistake in the Gu family, and Grandpa Sheng had started to ignore her and her identity. What was more ridiculous was that Sheng Kai, a man who could not even give birth to a child, dared to ignore her like this. If it was not because of their friendship in the past 6 months, she would have exposed this matter long ago. How could she let this man ride on her head? But now it seemed that it was not the time to play this trump card. If the Gu family situation worsened, she could use this card to protect her position, or exchange it for a chance to support the Gu family. Therefore, Gu Xiling ordered the kitchen to prepare supper. She wanted to send it to the CEO's office personally. It was not a good idea for Sheng Kai to sleep in the office after the charity banquet. However, as he watched Gu Xiling drive away, Sheng Bowen could not help but hold Hu Ran's hand. I can see that second brother's secretary knows that he is in a bad mood these days. She deliberately showed off in front of him, and he did not reject her. If second sister-in-law goes there and sees something unsightly, I'm afraid it will be a good show. Hu Ran was stunned. She looked at Sheng Bowen's side profile. Are all the men in the Sheng family so heartless? Then you've wronged the men of the Sheng family. Eighth brother is a typical infatuated man. What about you? Third brother did a double take and grabbed Hu Ran's hand tightly. I didn't have any experience in love before I married you. I didn't have any deep contact with girls, because I know that my marriage is not up to me. That's why I don't understand why eighth brother would give up everything for Chi-Chi. Even now, I'm still confused. I don't know what it means to care, what it means to like. However, I'm willing to try with you. Are you willing to accept a person like me who doesn't understand? Hu Ran smiled when she heard him being so honest. Got it, Mr. Idiot. Let's take it slow. At least we don't hate each other now, right? Sheng Bowen smiled. It's late. Let's go back to our room and rest. Speaking of which, the two of them were only lying on the same bed. The most intimate contact they had was just a hug. They had not even kissed. Even so, as third brother had put it, love was not something that could be rushed. They did not want to recklessly take over each other's bodies before they were sure of anything. What if they got divorced in the future? Wouldn't that be too much of a mess? The night was getting darker. The wind was getting colder. Gu Xiling drove to Huang Yao. Seeing that the lights were still on in the CEO's office, she took a deep breath and comforted herself. Wasn't it just an apology? For the sake of the future, she could endure it. So, she took the pastries into the elevator and went straight to Sheng Kai's office. At this time, the secretary was taking care of Sheng Kai. There was tea and pastries in front of him. Gu Xiling saw that no one was going to inform her, so she pushed the door open. She saw the secretary standing beside Sheng Kai. There were all kinds of pastries in front of him. She immediately understood what was going on. Madam, the secretary was a little panicked and quickly called out to Gu Xiling. You didn't come home for a few days. I was worried that you would be hungry and cold. It seems that my worries were unnecessary. Gu Xiling looked at Sheng Kai and said self-deprecatingly, Your secretary not only has a good figure, but she probably won't covet your brother. So you can rest assured. Am I right? Sheng Kai stopped working and looked up at Gu Xiling with a frown. What are you thinking about? I know you don't want to see me. We agreed that I would leave the Sheng family after giving birth to the child. From then on, we would have nothing to do with each other. Maybe I'm too stupid, or maybe I've fallen for you. But you obviously don't think so. Gu Xiling put down the pastries and was about to leave. But before she left, she reminded Sheng Kai. It's not that I don't agree if you want to mess around outside. But you have to pay attention to hygiene and contraception. Although I'm not as glamorous as before, the Sheng family is not a place that anyone can enter. Having said that, Gu Xiling left. Sheng Kai's handsome face tensed up, but he did not chase after her. CEO, Madam seems to have misunderstood. It's a misunderstanding. Sheng Kai did not chase after her. He was the CEO of Huangyao. But what about his wife? Yet he was still thinking about Zhongting and eighth brother. So he donated the ring he gave him without even blinking. Then CEO, you should rest. The secretary was secretly delighted. You can go. I don't need you here. The secretary took the opportunity to hug Sheng Kai and pressed her soft body against him. CEO, do you know that I like you? I know that it's not easy to enter the Sheng family. I don't want to enter either. I just want to be with you like this. That's enough. I'm married. Sheng Kai emphasized the fact. Even if I'm laughed at, I'm still married. But you need someone to comfort you. Sheng Kai did not push the secretary away because he was still angry. Especially when he saw that Gu Xiling did not apologize when she came to the office. She was still so arrogant. He was angry. So he directly hugged the secretary and vented his anger. The two of them staged a passionate battle in the office. He was a CEO. How many women could he not have? Must he care about Gu Xiling? Chapter 506. He would not believe that Sheng Xiao had never played with women when he was in his position. After all, Sheng Xiao was not a gentleman in the past, and he would not appear in such places. Unfortunately, he was going to be disappointed, because Sheng Xiao had never had any intimate contact with any woman before Mu Qiqi. Wouldn't it make him even more unhappy if he dragged the woman he did not like to his bed? Although Sheng Xiao appeared in such places, he only did it perfunctorily with his friends. He did not even bother to look at decent women, not to mention those who had been kissed and touched by others. Sheng Kai could do it, but Sheng Xiao could not do it, because he was a neat freak. So what? Gu Xiling did not know that her husband had cheated on her. No, perhaps she knew it. After such a big fight, it was almost impossible for her and Sheng Kai to go back to the past. But when she thought that her husband could be so intimate with another woman, while she had to compromise and take care of the Sheng family, she felt that it was not worth it no matter how unwilling she was. After a while, Gu Xiling returned to Gu Mansion. When Grandpa Sheng saw her alone, he asked, "Are you still unhappy, second brother?" "I did not dare to disturb you with the secretary," Gu Xiling replied stiffly. Then, she went back to her room. Grandpa Sheng did not look good. He immediately called Sheng Kai. At that time, Sheng Kai and the secretary were in the middle of passion. Grandpa Sheng's call made him regain his senses. When Grandpa Sheng heard his panting, he knew what he was doing just now. He sneered. "You were in the right at first. But now, you can't explain yourself no matter how many mouths you have." Sheng Kai put down his phone. Looking at himself and the naked secretary, he took a deep breath and closed his eyes. "Go home, CEO. Don't come tomorrow." The secretary looked at Sheng Kai reluctantly, but there was nothing she could do. They were just in a trance. "Take care, CEO." Having said that, the secretary took her clothes and left the office. But after she left, Sheng Xiao felt even more lonely. Was he so incomparable to Sheng Xiao in Gu Xiling's eyes? It was a cold night. Because of his injury, the school arranged for Lin Mu An's leave, so that he could go home to recuperate. This was also the counselor's way of expressing his apology. Lin Mu An's results in the police academy were excellent, and his skills in all aspects were top-notch. Therefore, a few days of delay wouldn't affect him too much. Lin Mu An gladly accepted it. But when he returned to the Lu family, Mama Lu was shocked. Lu Qianqian explained what happened to Mama Lu, who then said with a pained expression, "She's your biological daughter, and yet she's so cruel." "Mommy, it's all in the past. Go and rest. I'll take care of him. Then you guys should rest early too." Mama Lu sighed and returned to her room, thinking that no matter what, she had to go to the Lin family and try her best. Meanwhile, Lin Muan smiled at Lu Qianqian. What should we do? I really wanted you, but now I can't even hug you. Lu Qianqian pinched his ear. Can't you think of anything else other than this? What else can a man's brain think of? Qianqian, let's go back to the room. We've been running and fighting today, and we're all sweaty. Moreover, I'm injured. Can you help me bathe? Lu Qianqian blushed, but she didn't refuse Lin Muan's suggestion. They went to the bathroom together. Lu Qianqian filled the bathtub with water, helped Lin Mu, and take off his clothes and laid in. Come in too. I'll be at ease this way. Lu Qianqian saw the bruises all over Lin Muan's body. She couldn't bear to refuse him, so she took off her clothes and sat in his arms. Don't move. That's not what I can control, Lin Muan said innocently. Qianqian, I still want you. I want to feel it for real. We're really together, and the whole world knows about it. Lu Qianqian couldn't do anything to him, so she said, then wait a moment. Seize the time to feel it. You're going to be a police officer in the future. It's not good to be a hooligan. You're wrong. I'm just doing this to you. The next day in Zhongting's office, when Sheng Xiao remembered that Mu Qiqi was going to Y City, he quickly contacted Secretary He and agreed to go to Y City to meet a very important person. Then, he arranged for Su Che to go to Y City first. He had to arrange the hotel and other matters properly. He just had to wait for his little one to go there, and then he could give her a surprise. Mu Qiqi replied to her tutor in the university that she would attend the academic exchange. She wouldn't miss the opportunity, but Feng Shanshan winked at her. Won't the crown prince be worried if you go to Y City? Why should I be? There are many elites attending the exchange this time, and some of them are from rich families. I'm planning to find one of them. Why would Sheng Xiao let you go with us? Just do your best. Mu Qiqi's expression was indifferent. Now you know why I don't want to talk to you in the university, don't you? You're just so boring. Mu Qiqi shrugged to show that she didn't care. Still, she was a little reluctant to be apart from Sheng Xiao for 4 days. Although she had been laughing at Sheng Xiao's midlife crisis these days. Could she be? With that thought, Mu Qiqi went straight to Zhongting after school. Since it was still early, and Sheng Xiao was busy with work, Mu Qiqi stayed in her office to read. There's a limit to peeking at me. Mu Qiqi put down her book and couldn't help chuckling. You can tell? Is it written on my face? It's because I'm going to Y City tomorrow morning, so I want to see you for a while. Mu Qiqi said helplessly. If only you could change your size, I could just take you away. I wouldn't have to be afraid no matter where I go. Because of Mu Qiqi's sudden attack, Sheng Xiao gave the designer a break, afraid that she would find out that he was preparing a wedding ring. You don't have to work so hard. It's just 4 days. I'll be back soon. Easy for you to say. Mu Qiqi snorted. How could she sleep well without someone warming her bed, bathing her, drying her hair, or coaxing her to sleep? But Feng Shanshan said that there would be a lot of rich kids joining this time. There are a lot of outstanding youths. You filthy thing. Do you need love? After hearing this, Mu Qiqi immediately surrendered. I'll help Feng Shanshan find someone. You want to see other men? Chapter 507. Come to think of it, Sheng Xiao was an all-powerful figure in school back then. Even now, he was an outstanding alumnus of Shengting University, and Mu Qiqi could still occasionally see her man's handsome face on the school's bulletin board. At that time, her heart would be filled with pride. While Mu Qiqi was in a daze, Sheng Xiao suddenly asked, Is your team staying at Ruisin Hotel? Mu Qiqi nodded. You even know that? Sheng Xiao did not say anything else. He continued working until the last meeting was over. Mu Qiqi did not think much about it. It was normal for Sheng Xiao to know her movements. She did not feel that she was being controlled at all. Sometimes it was just for safety. So, she did not understand why people who loved each other would yearn for the so-called freedom when they were loved and pampered. It was clearly because they did not love each other enough. Qianqian is going to announce her appointment tomorrow. You should help to keep an eye on her. There is someone in charge, Sheng Xiao replied. Moreover, Lin Muan is here now. There will not be any big trouble. That's true. Having said that, Mu Qiqi walked to Sheng Xiao's desk. Then, She propped her head on her hand and stared at her man very close to her. Then, do you think third brother and third sister-in-law are sleeping together now? After hearing this, Sheng Xiao could not help but grab Mu Qiqi's arm and pull her away from the office chair. Then, they took the elevator to the parking lot. Su Che was waiting downstairs. After getting into the car, Sheng Xiao said in a low voice, "Raise the partition." Mu Qiqi was stunned. "I see that you are very free. You want to pay attention to everyone's sexual affairs. Did I not feed you enough? I don't have other friends. These are the only ones I can tell you." Mu Qiqi quickly explained. She saw Sheng Xiao unbuttoning his shirt. "Although I like your body very much, Su Che is in front. You should be careful." Sheng Xiao put his arm around her neck and pressed her into his arms. He whispered into her ear, "I will let you go for now. Otherwise, others will hear your beautiful moans." This man always used these tricks to deal with her. He would go into heat 100 times a day. However, Mu Qiqi was not tired of it when her physical strength allowed it. That evening, Sheng Kai returned home, but Gu Xiling was completely unwilling to look him in the eye. Moreover, he and third brother had been having a dispute over the company's decisions recently. So the whole family ate quietly and had no intention of talking at all. Gu Xiling was the first to finish eating. She got up from Sheng Kai's side and said to Grandpa Sheng, "Grandpa, I'm going back to see my father tonight." "Go," the old man said coldly. Gu Xiling was clearly trying to avoid Sheng Kai, and anyone with eyes could see it. "I'll go with you," Sheng Kai suggested. "I haven't seen father-in-law for a long time." "I don't want to be with you," Gu Xiling said directly. "Co Sheng, you're very busy every day. I don't want to waste your time. You can go back to the company to work overtime. Anyway, there's a secretary to take care of you, so you don't have to suffer in front of me." After that, Gu Xiling went back to her room and packed some clothes, planning to go back to her parents' house for a short stay. No matter how cheap Gu Xiling was, she would never stoop to that level. Sheng Kai did not chase after her, because he was hurt by Gu Xiling's sarcastic words. Although he did let Gu Xiling down yesterday, didn't Gu Xiling let him down on a spiritual level as well? Why did it have to end up like this? Grandpa Sheng questioned Sheng Kai at the dining table. "I'm already punishing Xiling even if she said something wrong. As a husband, how could you hang out with your secretary during this time? Do you still want this family? She only has eighth brother in her heart. Don't you know who she has in her heart? If she only has eighth brother in her heart, she wouldn't have bothered to help you over the last 6 months. Especially after the incident with Zhongting was exposed, she would have gone to eighth brother. Is your pride worth that much? Don't blame me for not reminding you. I don't need someone with a disharmonious family to be the heir of Huang Yao." With that, Grandpa Sheng rose from the dining table and left the dining room. Sheng Kai said nothing. He looked at third brother and his wife for a while. "You should be glad that I've become like this, right?" Third brother raised his head and stared at Sheng Kai. "Aren't you childish? Did I cause you to become like this? Of course it's not you. It's eighth brother who colluded with you." After hearing this, Sheng Bowen felt that he had eaten enough. He put down his bowl and chopsticks. "Second brother, it's not that I want to hurt you, but you really don't have the right to let eighth brother deal with you." After that, third brother turned to look at Hu Ran and asked, "Are you done eating?" "Yes, let's go back to our room." Hu Ran nodded and got up from the dining table with Sheng Bowen. Sheng Kai sneered and flipped the dining table. Since the whole family did not want to see him, it would be fine if he went back to the company, right? Did they say that he didn't even have the right to be in Sheng Zhao's heart? Was that so? Gu Xiling drove back to Gu Mansion in the middle of the night. Then she saw her father going crazy. Mama Gu and a group of doctors tried to hold him down and inject him with a tranquilizer. But such a scene made Gu Xiling's hair stand on end. "Mom, is Dad's condition still not getting better? I've tried all kinds of methods, but he just doesn't want to take the medicine. If he doesn't take the medicine, he can't calm down," Mama Gu replied. "Why did you come back? You have to stay in the Sheng family with the current situation." "Mom, I'll go back tomorrow. I'll accompany you tonight." Because whenever Gu Xiling thought of Sheng Kai and the secretary together, she felt nauseous. She was the young lady of the Gu family. When had she ever suffered such humiliation and pain? Then go back to your room and sleep. I'm afraid you'll be afraid if you stay here. Afraid of what? Mom, I'll definitely protect the Gu family. After that, Gu Xiling walked to the doctor and took the initiative to say, I'll hold Dad down. You guys do the injection. Miss, can you do it? The butler was very worried. What if old master hurts you? I'm not afraid. What was there for her to be afraid of now? At that moment, Gu Xiling thought it through very clearly. Since Sheng Kai had let her down, there was no need for her to be virtuous. He could look for his secretary, and she could look for her lover. She, Gu Xiling, would definitely not be taken advantage of. As for the Sheng family, she naturally had to stay. She had bet her whole life on her marriage. If she lost her man, would she lose her wealth as well? Moreover, third brother and his wife were eyeing them covetously. Perhaps one day, they would threaten Sheng Kai's position. What sincerity? Just feed it to the dogs. Since she was born into a rich family, she would fight to the end. The Sheng family would wait and see. Chapter 508. The next morning, Mu Qiqi came out of the bedroom with her luggage. Sheng Xiao followed her and sent her to the school assembly point. The strange thing was that the man did not respond to her reluctance to leave. 2 days ago, he was in a hurry to get married. But today, he did not even give her a hug. Mu Qiqi suddenly felt that the man must have done it on purpose. He deliberately made her worry. Feng Shanshan saw Mu Qiqi was in low spirits, so she sneered. Do you have to be like this? We have only been apart for a few minutes. Feng Shanshan did not understand, and Mu Qiqi did not want to explain. Sometimes, she did not understand why these academic exchanges could not be held in Jianshuan. Did they have to go so far away from Y City? Since we are out, there will be a party tonight. Mu Qiqi was speechless. Could she say that she did not want to attend? Everyone, be more enthusiastic tonight, and show the vitality of a university student. No one is allowed to leave. After they got into the car, the tutor said to the students who were participating in the exchange meeting, especially you, Qiqi, you've always been reluctant to participate in school activities. We all know that you're a special case, but you have to actively integrate into school life. Got it. Mu Qiqi was helpless. Any activity, except for work, would be boring if she was not with Sheng Xiao. She felt weak at the thought of leaving him for so many days. On the other side, Su Che had already prepared the documents. President, we can go now. Sheng Xiao put on his camel windbreaker and went to the parking lot of Zhongting. After a while, he also set off for Y City. It was quite interesting when he thought of the little one's expression when she left in the morning. At the same time, Lu Holdings was very lively today. It was an important occasion for Lu Qianqian, the eldest daughter of the Lu family, to announce her inauguration. The uncles of Lu Holdings expressed their strong dissatisfaction with Lu Qianqian, but they could not stop Lu Qianqian from taking the position. Because not only the people from Zhongting were present today, even Lin Mu was beside Lu Qianqian. He was on leave because of his injury, so he could attend Lu Qianqian's inauguration. The youngest uncle of the Lu family did not know how Lin Mu dealt with the Lin family, and made him lose the opportunity to form an alliance with Grandpa Lin. In this way, he could not stop Lu Qianqian from becoming the chairman of Lu Holdings, even if he did everything he could. This grand inauguration conference was held in a hotel owned by Lu Enterprises. At this time, Lu Qianqian was already wearing a black professional suit, looking energetic and experienced. In order not to let the inauguration ceremony be affected, Lin Mu not only asked the female bodyguard to follow Lu Qianqian closely, but also arranged for a few people to restrict the movements of the Lu family's uncles. At 9 o'clock in the morning, the inauguration conference officially began. Looking at this silly little girl standing there, I feel like it's a joke, but there are so many people supporting her. He's Chairman Lu's only descendant, so it's only natural for him to inherit the Lu family. It would be strange if the uncles of the Lu family didn't eat her up. Just wait and see. There were quite a number of people below the stage who were not optimistic about Lu Qianqian. After all, She was just 20 years old and lacked experience. However, Lu Qianqian walked up to the stage and faced the applause. She stood on the MC's podium and faced the hundreds of shareholders and employees of Lu Holdings. She looked very calm. I know that until now, there are still many people who don't think highly of me and think that there is no hope for Lu Enterprises. They even think that I'm overestimating myself. How can a silly little girl shoulder the responsibility of a company and support such a big company? But I feel that I'm the only descendant of my father. If I'm not qualified to stand here, then who is? Who hasn't been young before? If you don't even give me a chance and think that I can't do it, I think that's pure prejudice. Today, I announce that I'm the new chairman of Lu Holdings. I need your help. I will continue to expand the territory on the basis of the original subsidiaries of Lu Holdings and continue to build the Lu Holdings kingdom. And the first thing I do today is to continue to deepen the employee welfare system and create a more comfortable working environment for the employees. The second thing is because of the big projects left by my father, I will hold a meeting with the shareholders in the next 2 days to discuss the results and continue to start. The third thing is to get rid of the parasites who are in their positions but don't seek for their jobs. I have a list in my hand, and I will find time to talk to each of you. At the same time, I will give each department a week. If the situation of each department improves, then Lu Holdings will let bygones be bygones and hope to create a better future with all the employees. In private, we are a family, and everyone can be more casual. But in the company, I am the chairman. No matter how old I am, I will be in this position. I hope to get the respect I deserve. They could not tell that this little girl had some tricks up her sleeve. The shareholders below the stage all showed a thoughtful look. She increased the employee welfare and stabilized the morale of the staff as soon as she came up. However, she also announced that she was going to reorganize the company and gave a warning to those who wanted to fish in troubled waters. It was also a show of strength. She had used both kindness and power, and it could be considered as a beautiful move. At least, this little girl was much better than what they had imagined. She didn't stutter, be nervous, or say random things without any topic at all. It seemed that the future of Lu Holdings was also full of infinite possibilities. Soon, the audience burst into applause. Mama Lu and Lin Mu were the most gratified. However, at this moment, the door of the venue was violently pushed open. A tall and thin man with glasses walked in. Since today is the inauguration conference of the new chairman of Lu Enterprises, can the new chairman also give me an explanation on the spot? You are? I am the person in charge of Qihing Electronics. I want to cancel the cooperation with you, but your board of directors has been delaying the time. When your chairman was alive, I trusted him a lot. But now that he is gone, I think there is no need for us to cooperate. After all, you are a little girl, and it is beyond the risk assessment of our company. I am sorry. I am not deliberately looking for trouble with you on this day. It is just that we have communicated with Lu Holdings several times, but we have not come to an agreement. So I have no choice but to come here. If this was not looking for trouble, what was it? If Lu Qianqian did not handle this matter well today, she was afraid that what she said just now would become a joke. Everyone looked at Lu Qianqian nervously, but Lu Qianqian looked very calm. Other than me, is there any other reason why you want to terminate the cooperation? Chapter 509. Then I think your company is really capricious. You want to cancel the cooperation just because I took office. Are you targeting me? Lu Qianqian refuted him directly. I have seen the case of the cooperation between Lu Holdings and you. The contract has been signed. Aren't you going against the spirit of the contract if you go back on your word, just because I took office? Of course, Lu Holdings will not agree to such an unreasonable request. Do you think that I am inferior to others just because I took office? Lu Qianqian questioned him bluntly. The other party was stunned. Everyone present was stunned too. A 20-year-old girl could say such words with a clear mind. Could you still say that she was not capable? This is not called canceling the cooperation. To use a more professional term, this is called terminating the agreement. The contract states that if one party wants to terminate the contract for subjective reasons, he must pay the other party 15% of the liquidated damages, according to the contract. As long as your company is prepared for the liquidated damages, there is no reason for Lu Holdings not to agree. After all, you are not the only electronics company in the country. It is not that we have no choice. After saying this, Lu Qianqian called the security guards. This is an internal meeting of Lu Holdings. Other than the invited people, not everyone can appear on such an occasion. I hope you will pay attention to the quality of your service. The expression of the person in charge of the security work changed when he heard Lu Qianqian's words. He quickly arranged for the security guards to ask the man to leave. After this battle, all the employees of Lu Holdings could see that this 20-year-old girl was not a paper tiger that would be easily defeated with a poke. And the man just now was not so much looking for trouble. It was better to say that he was looking for humiliation. In fact, Lu Qianqian, Lin Muan, and Lin Mu knew that such an occasion could not be entered easily. But they did not know that this time, it was her uncles who came up with the idea and helped her a lot. She was worried that she could not find a chance to establish her prestige in front of the employees of Lu Holdings. In this case, it couldn't be any better. Lin Muan sat below the stage and read Lu Qianqian's lips. He smiled and said, "Sister, you are so fierce." Lu Qianqian smiled too. Then, she continued to stand on the stage and carried out the press conference until the end. Seeing this, the uncles of Lu Corporation knew very well that it was too late. They could only hope for the future. However, when they realized that Lin Muan's seat was right in front of them, they looked at each other at the same time. Lu Qianqian was born in the Lin family. Although she was at loggerheads with the Lin family now, she was still the blood of the Lin family. Once Grandpa Lin could not do anything to Lin Muan, Lu Qianqian would become the daughter-in-law of the Lin family. Second, this person had a close relationship with Sheng Xiao of Zhongting. Ever since Papa Lu passed away, he had been active around her as Lu Qianqian's boyfriend. Wasn't he the one who created all the bodyguards and security equipment? It meant that with Lin Muan around, it would not be easy to touch Lu Qianqian. Their faces did not look good, but Lu Qianqian did not mind. These people had ulterior motives, and were always thinking about carving up the Lu Corporation. She would always find a chance to make these uncles scram. Soon, Lu Qianqian left the stage and returned to Lin Muan's side. Lin Muan took the opportunity to hold her hand. His eyes were full of pride. "From now on, I will be in charge of being as beautiful as a flower. You will be in charge of making money to support the family." Shameless, Lu Qianqian pinched the tender flesh of his hand. "Did I do well just now? Don't you know how ugly your uncles' faces are?" Lin Muan laughed. "It will be a more dangerous path in the future. It will be full of difficulties and obstacles. You must hold my hand tightly. Don't lose it. I may not be able to give you a mountain of gold and silver, but I can give you the safety you want the most. That's enough. I can't exchange this sense of security for anything." Lin Muan was satisfied. He put Lu Qianqian's hand in his arms. "Go back and rest early. I know you will have a series of meetings in the next 2 days." It was raining heavily in Y City. When Mu Qiqi and the others arrived at the hotel, it was already afternoon. But the sky was dark as if it was evening. Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan stayed in the same room. The others stayed on different floors of the hotel, because they could not book the same room. This kind of weather is the most suitable for murderers. Feng Shanshan looked at the pouring rain outside and sighed. "Are you still going to the social gathering in this kind of weather?" "The social gathering is not outdoors. What are you afraid of?" Feng Shanshan raised her eyebrows. "Are you that afraid of Sheng Xiao? He is not here." "I am not afraid." Mu Qiqi was a little sad. "You don't know how comfortable it is to sleep in a man's arms in this kind of weather. All right, clean up and go out for dinner. Lunch is provided by yourself." They changed their clothes in the room and went to the hotel's cafeteria. However, when the waiter saw her room number, he brought her and Feng Shanshan to a private room. "I didn't expect this kind of treatment in school. Madam Sheng, please enjoy." Mu Qiqi was stunned when she heard the words Madam Sheng. The waiter clearly knew her identity. Could it be that the man arranged this? Feng Shanshan did not notice anything. How good was this treatment? But at that moment, a group of men walked past the door of the private room. They were all dressed in black. But she knew the man in the camel coat. Mu Qiqi got up and immediately chased after them. But she saw that the man went into the private room next door. But she also saw the man clearly. No wonder he looked indifferent when he went out in the morning. No wonder he was indifferent to her reluctance to leave. It turned out that he wanted to follow her. What a waste of her thinking and worrying about him. He was too much. Where did you go? Feng Shanshan asked curiously when she saw her go out halfway through her meal. I saw someone I know. You know someone in Y City too? Mu Qiqi cut the steak on her plate angrily. What about the room next door? Sheng Xiao was having a pleasant conversation with the person he wanted to meet. I have heard a lot about you, Chief Sheng. You live up to your reputation. The man said to Sheng Xiao politely. I called Zhongting 2 days ago. The secretary's office replied that someone would come to talk to us. I didn't expect Chief Sheng to come in person. I have some personal matters to deal with, so I came in person. Sheng Xiao's posture was casual, and his eyes were half closed. But this hotel is only a 4-star hotel. We have arranged a 5-star hotel for you. It will be more comfortable for you. Chapter 5:10. If that's the case, we shouldn't force you. What would happen to the little one if he went to stay in a 5-star hotel? Sheng Xiao did not say anything else. He just smiled and asked the waiter to send something to the little one in the next room. Feng Shanshan was stunned when she saw it. Room card. Don't you have it? You used to be very smart and always fight with me. Why are you so stupid all of a sudden? Mu Qiqi put away the room card and glared at Feng Shanshan. Feng Shanshan froze for a moment and looked surprised. No way. Mu Qiqi. I didn't know that you have the guts to look for another man behind the crown prince's back. Mu Qiqi rolled her eyes and told her. Why don't you go next door and take a look? Feng Shanshan went out of the private room suspiciously. Then she came back after a while. I finally know why we have a private room when the other students have a normal meal. So, I was the only one who slept that night? Feng Shanshan was in a good mood when she thought of that. But you have to come back tomorrow morning. I want to have a better meal. It's rare for me to come out. There are no dead bodies, no maggots, and no giants. I want to enjoy myself. But what about you tonight? Mu Qiqi shrugged. She still had to attend what she had to attend. She just had to stay far away and avoid contact with those men. Otherwise, if someone saw her, she could not guarantee what would happen to those who tried to hit on her. Feng Shanshan also raised an eyebrow. This was not something she should care about. After lunch, it was free time. In fact, it was already 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Mu Qiqi only saw Sheng Xiao entering the private room. She did not know who he met or when he left. This man did not even greet her when he came out today. It was still raining in Y City in the afternoon. The group agreed to have a chat in the hotel. But Mu Qiqi heard a lot of gossip in just a short time. Did you see that super handsome man? I've never seen such a high-quality customer after working here for so long. Of course. I don't know if he's a celebrity. After he checked in, all the female staff in the hotel spread the news. They're all waiting for him to come out of his room, hoping to meet him by chance. Mu Qiqi rolled her eyes, cursing inwardly. That stinky man really is a scourge. After dinner, Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan received a notice to gather at the bar on the 2nd floor of the hotel. This was a place provided by the hotel, so the environment was much safer than outside. People from other schools were also gathered there. It was a joint booking by several schools to let the students relax. Mu Qiqi found a quiet corner and sat down. She wanted to pretend that she did not know those crazy classmates. Feng Shanshan, who was used to such an atmosphere, laughed at Mu Qiqi as she sipped her champagne. You must be a good girl at home. You don't attend such occasions, do you? I don't really like it. The air is bad, but it's more interesting than those socialites, Mu Qiqi replied. Since you are a student, the drinks provided tonight are almost non-alcoholic. You can drink them too. Mu Qiqi shook her head, indicating that she did not want to drink. At that time, The people in the group had become familiar with the people from other schools. Some of the boys began to ask about Muchichi. It's the one in the corner. The one who doesn't fit in. She's quite pretty and has a good temperament. Who is she? When the boy from Enchanting saw Muchichi, he immediately said, "It's better if you don't have any ideas about her. If you want to live." She's the third generation of the Red Army. Her grandfather is the old chief of a military district. Her uncle is the mayor of Jianchuan. But the scariest thing is not her background, but her fiancé. Do you know him? Everyone in the country had heard of Sheng Zhao's reputation. But since they were in different cities, they had never seen him before. She's the rumored bride. The other party immediately reacted. That's right. Don't provoke her. All right. We know what to do. After asking about it, they went their separate ways, except for one person. Liang Mia's, what are you looking at? She's already taken. The man called Liang Mia's looked at Muchichi deeply. Then he turned around and went back to his classmates. After a while, there was a commotion in the bar. It was accompanied by screams. But most of the screams were from women. The students from Enchanting knew him. After all, he was a famous alumnus. But the people from other schools could not stand it. He's the best. I'm a man. Even I think he's handsome. Although the people from Enchanting were also attracted by Sheng Zhao's good looks, they knew his purpose of coming here. He must be chasing after someone. His upbringing was a little too strict. Although the counselor had asked Muchichi to join the social gathering, the counselor should have nothing to say since her family had come here. When the counselor saw Sheng Zhao, he stood up and shook hands with him. It's my honor to see you in such a place, Chief Sheng. I'm here to pick up her family. I have something to do. Don't worry. This bar is booked by the school. All the guests today are students. And we didn't provide them with hard liquor. Everyone is just having a gathering. The counselor quickly explained, so that Sheng Zhao would not misunderstand. Thank you. With that, Sheng Zhao looked at Muchichi. When she saw her man, Muchichi immediately felt that her savior had arrived. She quickly got up from her seat and walked to Sheng Zhao's side. Sheng Zhao put his arm around Muchichi's shoulder and left the bar with her. Other than the people from Enchanting, all the men and women at the scene were stunned. These two people were actually a couple. It's my first time seeing such a handsome man. I thought I could create a romantic encounter with him. I knew it. It's impossible for such a handsome man to be single. The two had already left the social gathering. But the rumors about them were still echoing in the party. Sheng Zhao brought Muchichi back to the best suite in the hotel. But this little one seemed to be angry. She sat on the sofa with her back facing him. Why didn't you tell me? Tell you that there's such a surprise? Or do you want to get to know the men at the social gathering? Sheng Zhao sat beside her and turned her body around. You don't want me to show up? I didn't think so when you didn't show up. But when you walked out, I suddenly felt that the men outside were beyond recognition. They were so crippled. Chapter 511. A big collaboration? It's a mysterious family, Sheng Zhao explained. Aren't you going to attend the conference tomorrow morning? Take a shower and go to bed. Muchichi looked at the man taking off his shirt and smiled. You even know when I will attend the conference? I know more than you can imagine. That's true. But are you really going to let me sleep so early? Muchichi looked at the man's chest up and down. I know you're tired. I'll let you go. Then, Sheng Zhao patted Muchichi's butt. Go. How many days are you staying here? You seem to want me to leave. Sheng Zhao frowned dangerously. Muchichi ignored him and went into the bathroom. But when she reached the door, she hooked her finger at Sheng Zhao. Are you really not coming with me? This little one was too seductive. That night, it was raining in Jianchuan as well. It was assumed that Gu Xiling would not return to the Sheng family with the terrible weather, and would stay a few more days with the Gu family. But after dinner, Gu Xiling drove back to the Sheng family, although she still did not look at Sheng Kai in the eye. Is your father feeling better? Grandpa Sheng asked. Much better. He wants to go back to work. Gu Xiling smiled and answered Grandpa Sheng. That's good. I'll ask the butler to send some good herbs to your father later. I hope he can recover as soon as possible. Thank you, Grandpa. Then, Gu Xiling looked at Sheng Kai, who was sitting at the dining table. Aren't you going back to your room? Sheng Kai was stunned. He did not expect that Gu Xiling would take the initiative to talk to him. Then Grandpa, we'll go back to our room. Sheng Kai stood up and followed Gu Xiling back to his room. Third brother and Hu Ran looked at each other. They felt that the relationship between them was not that simple, because the secretary of Huang Yao had been fired. And according to the security guard who was guarding the door, he saw the secretary's clothes were disheveled when she left Huang Yao. That meant that there was something going on between Sheng Kai and the secretary. And how could a proud person like Gu Xiling tolerate being betrayed like this? There were some things that could only be done behind closed doors. Sure enough, once they were back in the room, Gu Xiling said to Sheng Kai, "Later, I can cover for you when you leave. I can go to your secretary to comfort you. From now on, we are a loving couple outside this door. But when we return to this room, I hope you won't touch me again." When Sheng Kai heard that, he grabbed Gu Xiling. "How clean do you think you are? For more than half a year, you slept beside me. But your heart was always thinking about eighth brother. You can't wait to be the wife of Zhongting's CEO, can you? I've told you before that I like strong men. Isn't it only natural that I would think about Sheng Xiao? Besides, we already have a contract between us. Since we've already fallen out, I don't think there's any need for us to get along. Since you're together with the secretary, let her give birth to the child. When the time comes, just bring the child back. I'll treat it like my own." "Gu Xiling, do you know what you're saying? Then let me ask you, did you have sex with the secretary?" Hearing Gu Xiling's question, Sheng Kai choked. He couldn't answer. But Gu Xiling understood what he meant by his silence. "That's it. I'm a neat freak." Sheng Kai couldn't stand the depressing atmosphere. He slammed the door and left. However, this scene was coincidentally witnessed by the old man. Seeing Sheng Kai leave angrily, Grandpa Sheng asked the butler to call Gu Xiling into his study. "Xiling, can't you and second brother stop for a while?" "Grandpa, he and the secretary already have a physical relationship. How can I stop?" Gu Xiling asked him in return. "When can you have a child like this?" Hearing this, Gu Xiling couldn't help laughing mockingly. "Grandpa, don't count on a child. Because Sheng Kai is infertile." When the old man heard this, he frowned. "What do you mean? Don't you think it's strange? We've been married for half a year. Why is there nothing?" "So, I did a checkup for him behind Sheng Kai's back. He's sick." "Is that true?" "I have the checkup report," said Gu Xiling. "Grandpa, what do you want me to count on? He can't even give me a child. And he's with the secretary outside. Anyone would be sad." Grandpa Sheng was silent after hearing this. After a while, he said to Gu Xiling, "Does second brother know? I did it behind his back. He shouldn't know. Go back and rest." That was the conversation between Grandpa Sheng and Gu Xiling that night. It turned out that second brother had that problem. No wonder they didn't have a child until now. If the news that the heir of Huang Yao couldn't have a child got out, not to mention Sheng Kai, even the entire Sheng family would be embarrassed. He had to think of a way to get a child for second brother. Meanwhile, in Sheng Bowen's room, Hu Ran returned to her room. Second brother went to the company again. He probably quarreled with that woman again. As expected, Sheng Bowen sat at the desk and said, "The more second sister-in-law quarrels, the more suffering second brother has in Huang Yao." Even these 2 days, he was absent-minded during the meetings. There are many complaints in the company, coupled with the matter with the secretary. His reputation in the company is getting worse and worse compared to when eighth brother was in Huang Yao. "So, we don't have to do anything. They will take care of themselves." Hu Ran shook her head uneasily. When Tiffany and company is in chaos, second brother will really dig his own grave. Sheng Bowen turned off the computer and walked to the sofa with the blanket. "I'm going to bed. I have to go to the company early tomorrow." Hu Ran saw him leaning on the sofa. She hesitated for a moment, but still nodded. "Go ahead." Because she was too embarrassed to let Sheng Bowen rest on the bed. In Gu Xiling's room, her mind was in a mess. Although she did not know if it was a good or bad thing to tell Grandpa Sheng about it now. Grandpa Sheng would not chase her out no matter what the result was. Because she knew that this was Sheng Kai's private matter. If she was angered and the matter was exposed, the whole Sheng family would be humiliated. In fact, apart from this reason, she had another plan. She wanted to let Grandpa Sheng decide how to deal with this matter. With someone supporting her, even if Sheng Kai caused trouble in the future, she would have a perfect excuse. Of course, she would never expect that Grandpa Sheng's way of dealing with this matter would be so unexpected. The next day at the Lu family, on the second day after Lu Qianqian took office, she went to Lu Holdings for a meeting as she promised. At that time, Mama Lu planned to visit Grandpa Sheng at the Lin family with a gift. Was he still going to be stubborn even at this point? Mama Lu sent a gift to Grandpa Sheng's ward, but Grandpa Sheng rejected it. Chapter 512. Mama Lu did not want to see her off. The two of them still had a long life ahead of them. Grandpa Lin would eventually see Qianqian's capability and character. When that time came, she was not afraid that he would deny it. After a stormy night, the sky in Y City began to clear up. Mu Qiqi's academic conference was held in a top university in Y City. Now, she was on the school bus again. She was going to attend the conference with her group. Sheng Zhao's appearance last night had shocked everyone. So, when they saw Mu Qiqi today, they could not help but laugh at her. It's just a few days. Why are you bringing your family? He has something to do. Mu Qiqi quickly answered. It's just a coincidence. Soon the bus arrived at the university. Mu Qiqi and her group got off the bus. At the same time, students from other universities arrived one after another. Feng Shanshan saw one of the boys. She leaned on Mu Qiqi's arm and said, "You were not here last night. So, I heard some gossip. So that boy is the second son of a mysterious family in Y City. I heard that his elder brother spoils his younger brother very much. He is very scary. He would grant all his requests since he was young." Sheng Xiao told her last night that he was going to meet someone from a mysterious family. He hoped that it was not the same family. So, are you interested? I'm interested. But I need him to like me. Feng Shanshan shook her head. Moreover, once bitten, twice shy. I should find someone who is of a similar background. I don't want to repeat the same mistake. Mu Qiqi did not say anything. She entered the famous university with her group. However, throughout the entire academic conference, Mu Qiqi felt that someone was looking at her. It was a very uncomfortable feeling. Mu Qiqi's feeling was right. There was a pair of eyes behind her. They were studying her all the time. They were curious about her. That person was Liang Mia's. He had always been in a state where he could get whatever he wanted. He was very curious about people and things that did not take the initiative to get close to him. Last night, when he saw Mu Qiqi sitting in a corner and did not want to have any contact with the people around her, he became curious about her. Later, when he heard about her and Sheng Xiao, he became even more curious about her. He did not have any other thoughts. He simply had the urge to get close to her. You've been sitting on pins and needles all morning. What's wrong? Feng Shanshan could not help but ask when she saw Mu Qiqi shifting in her chair. I feel like someone's watching me. Feng Shanshan turned and glanced at everyone, and found that someone was staring straight at Mu Qiqi's direction. Feng Shanshan was stunned for a moment. Then she replied, "You're right. I hate that kind of rude stare," Mu Qiqi said. "He wouldn't go that far, would he? Everyone knows about you and Sheng Xiao. What else could he want?" Mu Qiqi shook her head. Pay attention. Feng Shanshan turned around and looked at Liang Muse again. She realized that he was still looking at Mu Qiqi. He seemed to be thinking about something. Of course, his obvious action was noticed by the people around him. He had been staring at Mu Qiqi all morning. That made Mu Qiqi very uncomfortable. She did not want to have anything to do with the mysterious family. She also hated anything that could threaten her relationship with Sheng Xiao. After the meeting was over, Mu Qiqi left immediately. Feng Shanshan did not even know when she left. She immediately called Sheng Xiao after she came out of the university. But Sheng Xiao was still in a meeting, so he asked Su Che to pick her up first. Feng Shanshan remembered Mu Qiqi's restless look. She quickly went up to Liang Muse and asked, "Young Master Liang, you seem to like staring at my classmate." Liang Muse was tall and thin. He was very handsome. His looks were not top-notch, but he was above average. I'm just curious about her. If you are curious, please keep it in your heart. If you keep staring at her like that, people will think that you are a pervert. Feng Shanshan said, and turned to leave. Liang Muse frowned. Then he called his brother. Didn't you say that we're going to eat together? You eat first. I'm in a meeting with a guest. Brother, I'm a little curious about a girl. The other party was stunned when he heard that. A girl? You like someone else? No. I just want to keep staring at her. God bless you. You're not scaring her. The man on the other side of the phone sighed. Go home. Don't go to this academic meeting for the time being. Okay. Liang Muse agreed obediently. He did not mean it. But he could feel that Mu Qiqi seemed to dislike him. Since his brother told him not to go to the academic meeting, he would go home. Liang Muse's brother hung up the phone and apologized to Sheng Xiao. I have a troublesome brother. I'm sorry to let Chief Sheng laugh at me. Is your brother participating in the academic meeting too? I've asked him to go home. He's a little paranoid. Sheng Xiao did not say anything. The two of them continued reading their contracts and documents. Then they signed the contract. I hope we can work well together in the future. Sheng Xiao got up from the sofa and shook hands with the other party. It's my honor to work with Boya. You're too polite, Chief Sheng. I heard that your fiancé is also participating in the academic meeting. I hope we can have a meal together when we have time. Let us be the host. Sure. In just one morning, Sheng Xiao had completed 3 days' worth of work for the deputy CEO. But the little one would have to stay here for 4 days. If he knew this, he would have taken his time. Soon, Sheng Xiao returned to the hotel. But when he saw the little one in the room, he heard her complaining. There's a pervert staring at me for the whole morning. I can't stand it. Suddenly, the conversation between the Liang family and his brother flashed in Sheng Xiao's mind. The Liang family? How did you know? Mu Qiqi was shocked. How did you find out about this? No. I had a meeting with his brother in the morning. I heard them talking on the phone. Sheng Xiao grabbed the little one and put her on his lap. Why are you so uneasy? I think I'm suffering from a disease. I'm afraid that you'll get angry when people provoke me. You care too much about my feelings. Sheng Xiao could not help but pinch her nose. Other women are busy with their vanity. You really don't play by the rules. You're so careful. I haven't even felt the danger, but you're already worried for me. Mu Qiqi was quiet for a moment. She did not say anything, but what she said next shocked Sheng Xiao. Chapter 513. Sheng Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi for a while. Then he nudged her head. How do you know that people like you when they stare at you? Didn't I learn to be narcissistic from you? Mu Qiqi suddenly laughed. I will send you to school in the afternoon. Mu Qiqi nodded. Although she did not know what Sheng Xiao was planning, she did not care about it since she had handed it over to him. After dinner, Sheng Xiao personally sent Mu Qiqi to school at 2:30 in the afternoon. But to Mu Qiqi's surprise, the second young master of the Liang family was absent. Then, Sheng Xiao received a call from the Liang family. Chief Sheng, if you haven't left Y City, can we have a gathering in the afternoon? Sheng Xiao glanced at his watch and asked in return, where? If it was for business in the morning, it should be for personal matters in the afternoon. Although he did not think that anyone would be interested in Xiao Qi, he still wanted to know what the other party was thinking. Mu Qiqi did not know what Sheng Xiao did, or when he left. She only knew that without the man surnamed Liang, she was much more at ease in the afternoon. Feng Shanshan took the opportunity to go out and answer a call. When she returned to the classroom, she said to Mu Qiqi, there is a big case in Jianchuan. The professor asked when we will go back and help him. Aren't there many forensic doctors around? This case is not a small matter. We might need your help. But we have no choice. We can't leave halfway. Mu Qiqi was deep in thought. Then, she continued to focus on the academic conference. On the other hand, Sheng Xiao arrived at the place that the Liang family had arranged. It was a famous Sky Garden hotel in Y City. I'm sorry to make you come here again, Chief Sheng. You know that the girl your brother has been staring at is my fiancée, right? Sheng Xiao sat down in front of Liang Mai and answered directly. Since you want to meet me, Do you want to tell me something? My brother doesn't mean any harm. He knows that he has crossed the line. He has withdrawn from the academic conference in the afternoon, said Liang Mai as he made tea for Sheng Xiao. I hope you don't mind. If you just want to explain, we can solve it over the phone. I want to invite President Sheng and your wife to visit the Liang family. My brother just wants to be friends with your wife, but he's not good with words and doesn't know how to express himself. I've spoiled him. Liang Mai explained. The situation of the Liang family is very complicated. Chief Sheng, you know that for the past 100 years, we have rarely announced it to the outside world. That's why we are called a mysterious family. My brother is an eccentric. He rarely has anything that he likes. But as long as it's something he likes, I will try my best to get it for him. So the next thing your brother wants is? Sheng Zhao's tone was cold and dangerous. No, CEO Sheng, you've really misunderstood. He wants to acknowledge your wife as his god-sister. To be honest, there are no women in the Liang family. Whether it's our mother or our sisters, they all died young. Perhaps it's because of this that when he saw your wife, he felt that she was very compatible. Sheng Xiao did not want to understand. He could not understand what the Liang brothers were doing. Although they were in a cooperative relationship, he did not want to get involved in any personal matters, especially when it involved his little one. Liang Mai might have noticed Sheng Zhao's indifference, so he quickly explained, It's okay. I know my request is very presumptuous and difficult to accept. Maybe in the future, if we are fated to meet again, we will talk again. Also, if your family has any illness that is difficult to cure, you can call me. We have a good doctor in the Liang family. The Liang brothers were very strange. Perhaps there were many secrets hidden in the mysterious family, but Sheng Xiao was not interested in them. Thank you in advance. If there's a chance, I must see the medical skills of the Liang family. Sheng Xiao did not reject Liang Mai. He answered politely and gave him a way out. After all, there was indeed a shortage of doctors in his network of connections. I'm really sorry for scaring your wife. Then, I hope you can control your brother well, Chief Liang. At night, in the hotel room, Sheng Xiao told Mu Qiqi the news. Mu Qiqi thought that the Liang family was really strange. Did they want to take someone as their sister just because they caught them? In that case, second young master Liang must have many god-sisters. I will go back to Jianchuan tomorrow. Be careful in the next few days. Actually, I want to go back too. The professor called me and said that there is a big case, and he needs help now. Don't forget your identity, Sheng Xiao reminded the little one. She was only a sophomore. There will be many big cases in the future. You should enjoy the campus life now. Got it. Mu Qiqi hugged Sheng Xiao and bumped her head against him. I will be serious in the exchange meeting. I won't cause trouble for you. If you see second young master Liang again, try to avoid him. No matter what the brother's purpose is, Zhongting will handle it. It's not something you should ask. Mu Qiqi nodded firmly. Not only Mu Qiqi, but Sheng Xiao also asked Su Che to stay, because he would not believe a word of what Liang Mai said. At the same time, Liang Mai was scolding his brother. You can fall in love with anyone but Sheng Zhao's fiancé. If it was someone else, I could think of a way for you. But Sheng Zhao's woman is not someone you can take away so easily. So you told them that I want her to be my god-sister. Liang Miaz looked at his brother and laughed. That will give you a way out. Actually, I just like to observe her. No matter what she does for me, it's fine. Liang Mai looked at his brother and could not bear to see him like this. Miaz, when you see her, do you think of your mother? Mother used to be a woman who didn't like to be surrounded by people. She was always quiet and would sit in a corner alone. Brother, is there really no way? Liang Mai shook his head. Are they married? Not really, but they are engaged and have been living together for a long time. If you are just curious, you should bear with it. After hearing his brother's words, Liang Miaz was silent. Even Liang Mai did not know what his brother was thinking. He was always troubled. If Liang Miaz was interested in something, everything would be easy. But he was afraid that he was interested in someone else's wife, a married woman. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.